Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Back down at Allen Park for another day of Lions training camp. I'm Gabrielle D. Phillips with Woodward Sports Network. Today we'll be seeing them working on a lot of game flow, movement of the ball, and special teams. Injury update on Trinity Benson. They will be getting a second opinion, but as of right now, it just looks like a sprain, which is fantastic news. When speaking to the media this morning, Campbell touched on the offense's growth and Goff's year two.
Okay, man, we are so far beyond where we were because of communication and guys being on the same page. And I think that's where Goff has really grown for us, too, is year two in this system. So that's what excites me.
One word how to describe how they're feeling about the defense in year two?
Pleased. Because I think we are in the beginning stages here of we feel some versatility beginning to show itself.
It's not just because of one individual player. He's seen improvement across the board. He listed off Hutch, CJ, Mack, and even Brian Branch as key components to this defense. Overall, on both defense and offense, their goal is to create versatility in their packages, and that will be their ammo to neutralize their opponents this season. Gabrielle D. Phillips with Woodward Sports Network, reporting from Allen Park.
Good morning, everybody. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for tuning in, choosing us this morning. Don't forget, when you come into the stream, hit the like button, support the stream, support everybody here alongside. I appreciate you guys for taking the time. We got the crew as usual. Booner filling in for Sam Flannel.
Football.
He's out till Tuesday. He's on vacation. We missed you, Sam Flannel. JB in the booth. Gabrielle D. Phillips is back.
Hi.
In which we're going to get to her in a little bit, talking about training camp, what she saw. But Lucas Klotz, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, in the booth as usual. A lot of football to get to today. Yesterday, our first little taste of football, Boo.
We got it.
And now we won't go without football, NFL football, and then college football coming up shortly until about February.
Yeah.
So we're in it, guys. It's real. It's the season.
And last night, think about a pick on the show. I'm undefeated in football season. I have never
I was
lost
told. I was told.
in football
line,
season. No, 1-0. It was nothing. It wasn't hard.
No, you were nervous.
I was.
You
I
definitely
actually
were nervous.
I was working on the prep last night, getting notes ready, and I already put in there that the bet was dead. So maybe I jinxed it.
Well,
I reverse jinxed it.
You looked dead in the water, though.
It was bad.
And then, Kellen Mond, DTR.
Shout out DTR.
By the way, which many people said he would never play quarterback or never be a quarterback. He would change his position, and he played well last night. I know it's preseason, but still.
He looked good.
Regardless, it was nice to watch some
He looked
football.
very good.
It really was, just point blank. Zach Wilson, played a little bit. He showed his arm talent.
He looked like a
Zach
Pro Bowler.
Wilson
Like
in preseason. Wow.
He
Can't
might be
wait.
a Pro Bowler this. He might take
get
Aaron
out
Rodgers'
of here.
spot.
Yeah,
No,
they were
he-
saying after Aaron retires, Zach Wilson's going to be a prodigy.
Hell no. They better
You
hope.
imagine?
They better hope.
Could you imagine they double up? You get Aaron Rodgers off a fluke, and then you somehow get a fluke with Zach Wilson actually becoming something, and they actually are set up for years to come.
What did I say yesterday? We're going to watch Hard Knocks, Aaron Rodgers' downfall, and guess what? Zach Wilson's season right after that.
Don't do this. We're not doing the hype Zach Wilson thing up, all
it's
right? He stinks.
Absolutely
He
not.
went crazy. He looked
went
good in a preseason game.
He went crazy against like
Is that what
fourth
we hype up?
stringers. He went crazy against like third, fourth stringers.
Hey.
And crazy is like what? 3 for 4?
I don't even think he threw it for a touchdown.
3 for 5 for 60 yards. Damn it. But you know what, though? We do got Gabrielle D. Phillips back, so I wanted to get to what she saw. She's been gone the last 2 days.
Yeah.
You were out there down at training camp, and you kind of did the recap, which is on all our social medias, and it was Dan talking about the defense. But what are some things that stuck out to you? You can talk about it.
First, I want to start off with Drummond because Dan did mention him in the press conference, and we've kind of seen him over camp really progressing, really standing out in his own way and consistently, which is a huge win for the team because they've been harping on that consistency again and again. And Dan Campbell said, look, he's doing everything right. And you guys see it at camp every single day. I don't need to tell you that he's doing everything right, and he is making his way up the depth chart, and we saw that at camp once again yesterday. Another thing that I have to touch on is the relationship that Goff has with obviously St. Brown. We're seeing that really light up, but also with Khalif Raymond. I mean, they practice together in the offseason. They're together in the offseason. He was also with St. Brown in the offseason, and seeing their relationships develop this second year in this playbook has been fantastic. And I think it's awesome to see how highly Khalif Raymond speaks of the relationship between Goff and St. Brown. He touched on it in his media session yesterday and just said it's different this year because you see that they're so much on the same wavelength. They don't even have to look at each other now. They know exactly where they need to be. Goff knows exactly where St. Brown's going to be, and then he's there, and then some.
Right.
Saw a little bit of that shining through in practices this week.
I mean, think about that for a second, too, with the whole Amon-Ra St. Brown stuff. For his rookie year, doesn't really play until mainly the second half of the year. Him and Jared finally get that rapport more so on the field. Last year was their first full season together, Booner. And it worked out pretty well for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, almost 1,200 yards, missing 2 games. You'd expect, and now another year in this offense, another year with Jared Goff. You know, we're expecting a big year out of Amon-Ra, and I think you'll get it.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, too, talking about can he get to 1,300, 1,400 yards? Is he going to, like I said yesterday, I believe he could be a top 8 wide receiver statistically in the league this year, and that's just because he's with Ben Johnson a second year. He's with Jared Goff for a second full year. Like, it's going to be that big of a difference. But what Gabby said, the one that we didn't talk about yesterday, talking about the receiving core, is Khalif Raymond. He's coming back, and I know we talked about ex-receivers yesterday, like a Marvin Jones style, Josh Reynolds. But Khalif Raymond, back-to-back years, have over 500 yards on this offense. Second leading receiver in this offense last year. He makes plays.
Very dependable hands, too.
Yeah, he's consistent. He's just so consistent with Jared Goff, and he has the relationship with him, and he's been working out with him all summer. And if we're being honest, too, J-Mo's been working out with him, too. He's flown out to L.A. or Cali, wherever they were. That's another one. Like, these guys have been working together all summer long. So, like, it's just going to level up from here. That's the same thing with Amon-Ra. He's going to go from 1,200 yards to 1,400 because he's been working with them all year long already.
And you hear a lot of people talk about St. Brown's work ethic independently, but Khalif Raymond also has that. I mean, we waited like 45 minutes to an hour yesterday for him to get off the field after he was done doing independent practice after practice. It's not spoken of a lot. I mean, we do talk about it with St. Brown, and he does deserve those flowers, but I have to also give them to Khalif Raymond. And his story getting to this point is also incredibly adverse. And, you know, he took a year and went to Asia to, like, connect with his roots and completely step away from football because he wanted to figure out who he was as a man first before returning to football. And I think that speaks volumes to his character, and it's those leaders that are really shaping this team. They're quiet.
Right.
They're not loud with their I'm a leader on this team, I'm stepping up on this team. They're just showing up and doing the work, and people will follow, and that is a true leader. Another individual that's been standing out, Mims. Great growth.
I know Lucas loves to hear that.
Denzel Hims.
Yeah, definitely. So I think in the beginning was a little bit more rocky, but now that yesterday we saw them going through a lot of play motion and really moving the ball yesterday and getting more action, and you saw him being utilized and clicking, definitely this week more than previous.
Man, look at the wide receivers, right? We talk about the worries, you know, about the first 6 games without Jameson Williams. I mean, even though, you know, last year they had success, but to some extent you lost also DJ Chark. So you're missing that. Mims, Dylan Drummond, you know, who knows? I mean, one of these guys, you know, you always talk about them in training camp, but the more they build rapport, you might be able to see, you know, Denzel Mims making an impact right away.
What has Brad Holmes done the last couple years in the draft? He's found guys, undrafted free agent guys and late round guys that have come in and stepped up. Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra late in the draft. Denzel Mims, he brings Denzel Mims in.
Right.
Antoine Green, like different guys that he's finding. And just with the culture right now, like all of that is so contagious. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown getting in practice reps after practice. Everyone sees that. They want to be great. They want to follow him. This wide receiver, I'm convinced this wide receiver room is going to be really good this year.
I mean, think about, the wide receiver core just in general. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4th-round pick. Khalif Raymond was a special teamer until, Brad Holmes said, you know what, let's sign Khalif Raymond, but also he's going to be utilized as a wide receiver. That's credit to the coaching staff, too. But Dylan Drummond, which Gabby just talked about, a guy who was undrafted. Now he's becoming and turning more heads in training camp. Like, you look at the wide receivers they found, these guys are just plucking. Like, Denzel Mims, a guy who was labeled a bust in New York. Now he gets traded, has a new opportunity in Detroit. Like, if you think about it, the wide receiver depth is pretty impressive, but Booner, it's all from guys that are just like,
it's just like the tight end room last year.
Absolutely.
You have those 3 guys, they all make plays. Now it's the same thing with the wide receiver room. When DJ Chark leaves, now you have all of these guys, and they're going to be making plays and combining. And
you can never, underestimate or overvalue a guy like Amon-Ra, who's a number 1 wide receiver, but you never have to worry about him when he's off the football field. You never have to worry if he's going to be available. You never have to worry if he's working hard. Like, that's the things too. Like, a lot of people bring up diva wide receiver. Like, Amon-Ra is the antithesis of a diva wide receiver. He's the complete opposite. Like, and that's what makes Amon-Ra St. Brown so great.
Great word.
That was unbelievable.
Antithesis? That was like a
Can you pronounce that
flannel
again?
word.
You want me to give you the definition? No, dude.
I'm
okay.
I was just clear there. I was confused
Can you spell
on what was
that?
going on there. It was a big word.
Watch someone like, hey, by the way, Jeff, you didn't use that correctly. Like, someone just slide that in the chat.
That's not even a word.
Regardless,
The origin of the word.
regardless, I'll use it in a sentence. No, regardless, though, it's great to see, man. But you know what's crazy, though? Yesterday, something happened on heavyweights. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Like, this was on social media, too. I don't know what got into the water that Spencer Raxter.
Kool-Aid. What got into the Kool-Aid?
The Kool-Aid that Spencer Raxter and Lucas Klotz were drinking. But you guys went AWOL on the heavyweights yesterday. Here you go. Check this out.
They will pour the whole thing.
MVP, Super Bowl, MVP, Super Bowl,
Kirby Giants
Super Bowl. Elite McNeil, Warren Sapp 2.0.
Broderick Martin?
Who?
That's a big boy. That's a big boy coming in there. You think you're going to be able to run up the middle of Broderick Martin?
Lions are going undefeated. Undefeated, brother. They're taking it all.
There's no chance.
No chance.
Jordan Love? Justin Fields?
Pussy.
Kirk Cousins?
Pussy.
Get him up. Rain Dakota Prescott?
Pussy.
Get him out of here. This is Jared Goff's NFC this year.
This is Jared Goff. This is
Hooker after
Ben Johnson. This is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Antoine Green.
This is them all. The Lions are coming for everybody.
Brought to you by Swiss Insurance.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what got into me. we were having a good day back in the studio behind us, and it just transitioned. We saw Spenny and Easy out there. We walked through, just had to share the energy with everybody.
The people were with you guys.
Facebook had some words.
Yeah.
First of all, Spenny, I'll never mess with Spenny. I'm okay, man.
You know what's funny, Boot? Like, at the end of that, Lucas just kind of slides in. Brought to you by Swiss Insurance. Like, you actually have a sponsor. Okay, you know what?
They need to. Dan Campbell needs to play that for the team. Like pre-game, every single
Have
game,
me and
play
Spenny lead
this.
him out of the tunnel.
This is what you guys need to be.
Yeah, imagine Dan Campbell's like, you know who you're playing for? These guys are who you're playing for. The fans.
These are the men who have been starved their whole lives. That's who's up there.
Matt says, what you see at a Detroit strip club.
I'll
what
take
kind
it
of
better
strip
than
club?
a Toledo strip club.
Oh, jeez. I don't
want to know what's in the Toledo
You don't
strip
want
club.
to. That's a place
Ryan,
that you should never go to.
Ryan's reactions. He says, hold up. I'm going to go back and rewatch that again. BRB. Big Apache says, that good old Dispo pack on display.
That is true.
Yeah. Big Con 51. I hope McAfee shows that. Rack says, that segment was so good, I was cracking up. Super Juggernaut, the Swiss Insurance at the end had me. Again, in Lucian, he's adding in too. He says Sam would be shifting eyes every which way.
Sam would probably.
Yeah.
No word spoken, just pure fear on his eyes.
Justin O says, how much cocaine was consumed, brothers? No cocaine was consumed.
Just a lot of blue Kool-Aid. Honolulu Kool-Aid.
You know what's crazy? They're sober, but that's still what happened. And they're sober.
Just wait till Victory Mondays.
Funky, Lions fan, my guy says someone closed the trailer park.
That's messed up.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where to go, Lucas. That's SMA. Because the sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight this stigma. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget, hit the like button, show support, or subscribe if you haven't already, because if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 46,000 subscribers. If you can't watch live on YouTube, you can always go back, re-listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any platform you listen to podcasts. Leave a 5-star review for my guy Booner.
5-star, please,
He's
for
crushing
me.
it.
Please just give me a 5-star.
He's got the Lions hoodie on. He's got the Pistons hat on. He just wants a 5-star review.
If you 5-star, we're going to win the NFC North.
Yeah, that is factual.
That is a fact.
You can't confirm or deny it.
I can confirm. That is a fact.
You can. Okay.
He's plugged in.
He's plugged in. Okay.
You
know
know
the ins and outs around the city.
Remember we were out back yesterday throwing the ball around and he was on the phone for like 15 minutes? Brad Holmes.
Oh,
He's on the phone with Brad
I
Holmes.
do. I have had a
he
couple
was.
phone calls with Brad Holmes. Sometimes I get Dan Campbell his coffee in the morning.
Now, by the way, and I want to address this too. Spenny, he was a little upset yesterday. We did him a little dirty because, and I saw this comment too, and I forgot who said it. I think it was Blade who actually said it. Oh, Blade, did Jeff see Neil talking, ish about him yesterday? Yeah, I mean, it was just a normal Thursday. I love Neil Rule, but whenever he, likes to poke fun at me, I just kind of, it is what it is. I love Neil to death, but that kind of comes with it.
I want it known as well, too.
Like, according to Big D Energy, I'm Hollywood, I'm high maintenance, maybe a little bit of a douchebag. It is what it is. Yeah, hey.
Well, all of those are true.
Check.
I can't. Listen, I can't change the narrative. Just keep doing my thing, be who I am. And let Neil have fun with it,
There you go.
But they do talk about the subs at the night. Spenny did get a sub from me.
Yes, Spenny did get a sub. I know yesterday the heavyweights kind of brought it up. Spenny did because he saw us walk in. And to be fair, the first time was fine. We got lunch. They were
on the show.
They were on the show. That second time was bad. All right, that was our fault, Spenny.
That was egregious.
We forgot to ask Spenny. He was on the show. We didn't even think about it. So that's our bad.
Selflessly, I gave up half of my sub, and this
You did.
Selflessly.
I don't get this from not eating my subs, and I gave half of it to Spenny. So
You're a real one, Booner, for that.
Thank you.
So expect Big D or heavyweights to talk more about it today. Just giving you guys a heads up on that. More important news, though, season tickets are sold out for the first time in Ford Field history.
Yes, sir.
What does this mean? You know what this tells me? Lions fans are stoked, not scared.
So is Kirby. Did you hear him yesterday? I got the video.
Stop, not scared.
Kirby.
Yeah. This is Kirby
Stop,
Joseph
not scared.
reacting to Ford Field, all the season tickets being sold out.
Hey, y'all come out there, man. We out here. Detroit Lions every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, man. We out there, man. Come watch us. I appreciate the fans. One pride, one love. Can't wait to see y'all. Know what I'm saying? That means everything, by the way. My bad. That's it.
Shout out Kirby.
I know, I love
Shout
Kirby.
out Kirby. He's a GOAT, man.
Dude, he brings like high energy guy. I know, like the more you're around him too, Gabby, I'm sure it you can feel it when you're around Kirby Joseph.
He's ready. He's ready in those media sessions, and I have to say that everyone. Like, the first question everyone was asking in the media as soon as we were able to speak to players afterwards was, did you hear? Did you hear? And everyone's reactions are like genuine, like shock and pure joy and excitement over the fact that the season tickets are sold out for the first time in Ford Field history. And, like, they can't believe it. I mean, Khalif Raymond, we talked about him. When he found out, he was like, really? Like, you're kidding. Because, you know, he's been with the team and he's seen this progression for this to happen for the first time is so monumental. And, like, yes, the news comes out and it's fantastic and everyone's excited. But then you see the reactions of these players because they realize that, like, this is their time to give this fan base what they've been wanting for years. You see how much that means to them that they're going to be a part of that.
You know what's crazy, too, to think about it? Like, Ford Field opened up in 2002. A lot of these guys, like Kirby Joseph, was a baby. Yeah. I was as well. Like, it's crazy because you think about the last time the Lions were, you know, making the playoffs, but not just that, winning a playoff game, winning their division. It's before a lot of these players right now currently on the Lions were even born yet. So the fact that Kirby hears stuff like that, he's probably like, what the hell? And maybe what he remembers now of the Detroit Lions won't be what others remember because, again, he wasn't that old when the Lions are going through what they went through. So hopefully this could be a new era of Lions football.
And,
Booner.
I mean, they sold out season tickets, but I just want to give you a scenario real quick.
Okay.
I know Flannel's saying we miss you, but come week 1, say the Detroit Lions, Thursday Night Football, national TV, beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 2 versus Seattle Seahawks. Ford Field's already sold out.
Right.
Think about what downtown, what the city of Detroit's going to be like when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're sitting there 1-0, just beat the Super Bowl champions, and the city is just absolutely buzzing. We're doing pregame shows. We're doing different things. Like the whole city, the whole Detroit Lions fan base is going to be drinking Kool-Aid. They're going to literally be Spencer and Lucas that next Sunday. Like, just put that in perspective.
That
like, yeah, we haven't even started the season yet, and season tickets are sold out. Think about when we beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We go and beat the Seahawks. Like 4-1, 4-0, 5-0. Like the city is going to explode. And the Detroit, we have not seen the Detroit Lions like this in my lifetime.
Yeah, right.
Like this is like inject all of the Kool-Aid in my veins.
Well, imagine
I'm all in for all of this.
You said when we beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
We will.
When we beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you a scenario. And this is why I had the Kansas City game, that road game to open up the season, as one of my most important games because Booner, and I want your thoughts on this. If they win that Kansas City game, not saying week 1 dictates the entire season, but the confidence it'll give the Detroit Lions, the players. We talk about the amount of youth that's on this team currently. They're going to be dependent on some more rookies, but guys like Kirby, guys like now Jack Campbell, Aiden, you go out there and you stick it to the Chiefs. You stick it to the Super Bowl champs.
Stick it to them.
I'm telling you. And even if it, who cares if it's close? Who cares if it's a blowout? You win just point blank. What will that do? Because now you go home. People are going to be, it's already going to be sold out. It's going to be standing room only. But now what does that do for the fan base? I'm telling you, that Friday show, when they beat them, not if, because I think the Lions have just as good of a shot to beat them as any, one of the better teams. People that are giving the Lions a chance. I think they can. I think they have enough to beat them. But it's going to be tough. It's still Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yeah, I mean, it gives these guys confidence too. Like last year, you start 1-6. This year, you go in and beat the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs, and you prove that you can be on that level. All the talk this year is, can you contend? Can you contend? Mm-hmm. And Dan Campbell tells the guys, like, hey, take a step back here. Let's not think about that. But if you do beat the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at Arrowhead with one of the best quarterbacks of all time, the best player in the league right now, things change. Like you instantly right there, you become a contender. Every single home game is going to be just over the top. Downtown, there's going to be people filling in downtown. The Seahawks game, these Monday Night Football games, you're going to start getting pushed into other Monday Night Football games. The whole season, and that is why, Jeff, I'm with you. Week 1 is one of the most important games. If you can show the league, they put you in primetime for a reason. If you can show the league that you can compete with the Kansas City Chiefs that week, everything changes for the whole season. You're going to start getting more primetime games again added on. It pumps me up.
Booner sipping some of that Kool-Aid.
I'm not taking my shirt off, but I'm ready.
But yeah, you don't have to do that. Thank you, Booner.
Thank you.
I appreciate your commitment.
I don't want to show it.
No, it's okay. You got your Lions sweatshirt on. It's all right. What do you think, Lucas? That week 1 game.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Every inch, every millimeter in my body wants the Detroit Lions to win. I think they easily can if they perform to their abilities, just because of how dominant they will be on the ground, in my opinion, that game. But if we think the pressure's hot on the Lions right now going into Kansas City week 1, imagine what the pressure on the Lions is going to be if they go into Kansas City week 1, beat the Chiefs, and now they're at home against the Seahawks. So that raises my concern where I think, just me personally, not that the Kansas City game doesn't matter, but I think Seattle at home week 2 is probably one of the most important games of the season. So if you beat Kansas City and then you kind of crap the bet against Seattle, it's going to make me very wishy-washy. But I just think if the Lions win, now you got all the noise, you got all the light on you. People are going to instantly be booking you in the Super Bowl because you just beat the Kansas City Chiefs week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to put a lot of pressure. We're going to really see what Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, and the rest of this team can do under pressure. And that's what you want to see before they get in the playoffs. You don't want them to get in the playoffs wild card week 1 or round 1. That's the first time they're really feeling pressure like that. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing, but it also could be a bad thing.
I think it could change the narrative, and not that the narrative's already shifted, but help the case for different guys. For example, Aaron Glenn. Yep. That defense looks...
And that would,
dude.
That would keep Aaron Glenn safe for the season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That defense looks stout week 1. You do good against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. That offense, of course, you're going to get some bonus points to Aaron Glenn. Dan Campbell. You go on the road, you beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He gets praise because Dan, what's one of his biggest weaknesses? How they start the season. 1-6 last year, and I believe the first year they were like 0-8, 0-9, weren't they, before they won a game? So this would mean a lot for a lot of different people. Jared Goff. I mean, this is the first time he's played, if I'm not mistaken, Mahomes since that shootout on Monday Night Football, and I'm not 100% certain, but
I think so. I think
what it would mean if he goes in and takes down Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of different guys that are going to be able to gain from this.
When they do beat the Kansas City Chiefs, Jeff, does that change your ceiling? I know me and you have had this argument about his ceiling for about a month now.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to bring it up to.
No, it's fine.
Here.
And I'll bring it up. So me and you are a little different. You believe if the Lions, everything's clicking in all cylinders, they can make it to the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
That's what you believe. I'm a little hesitant to say that because I think they're a third, fourth best team in the NFC. So I have to see the matchups in the postseason. But I'm not confident they're better than the 49ers or the Eagles. That's where I struggle. And I do think it's a toss-up with the Cowboys, with the Seahawks. I'm a little...
So do you think, realistic, we talked about this in the back.
Right.
And this is a good conversation with the Chiefs, too, because if they beat the Chiefs, they show they can beat anyone. Yep. Right? Correct? On the road. So say they win 12 games this year. Get the 2 seed.
Right.
They go into the divisional round, win the first round, go to the divisional round. They're playing the Cowboys at home or at home. You don't think that the Detroit Lions could beat the Dallas Cowboys?
I do think.
So then you think they can get... That's where we'll get started on this because we...
No, I do think they can. But I think it'd be drinking the Kool-Aid if you say, yeah, they will. That's easy work. That's drinking the Kool-Aid. The Dallas Cowboys are... I mean, Dak Prescott, I'm going to make fun of him all day, every day. Because, again, I think he's overrated. But you can't sit here and act like the Cowboys are bums. That's a good team.
No, they're not bums, but I think they can beat them in a divisional round game.
I agree. I think they can beat them.
If they get lined up like that.
I think they can beat them, too. I do. But we'll see. We have to see how things shake up.
If they beat the Chiefs, they can beat the Niners, too.
Here's the thing, though. Here's my kind of viewpoint.
Come on!
Booner's drinking Kool-Aid. He's drinking that Kool-Aid. I love it, though. I love it.
I feel like the ceiling wouldn't change because the ceiling would be the exact same. You know what I mean? Maybe the expectations would heighten, but I feel like the ceiling, no matter what, stays at the same spot the whole season. I think it would be hard, unless you want to say when J-Mo comes back, now the ceiling's elevated because you have a speedster out there. But I think just the Detroit Lions ceiling would stay the same. I think everyone in the world thinks there's a chance that they beat the Chiefs. So I think people think they have a high ceiling, but they're kind of banking on that floor. So I think expectations would raise, ceiling would not.
And I think also the Lions will be able to show me how they match up against the Cowboys because they travel to Dallas the 2 games before the end of the season.
Yeah.
So at least I'll get a little sample size there. But again,
you get Rain Dakota or Dakota Rain in the playoffs.
Oh, trust me,
I am hammering the Detroit Lions.
Would I rather have the Cowboys over the 49ers and Eagles? Hell yeah. Dak Prescott, absolutely. So we shall see.
I'd rather have the Cowboys than the Vikings or Packers, to be honest.
Hey, I agree.
If they somehow sneak in there, give me Dak all day. I know.
You want Dak and the Cowboys over Jordan Love and the Packers?
Yep.
All right, let's go to break here.
Every day of the week. Man, that's
enough
on Lucas.
I'll say I'd rather give me Jordan Love. Give me Jordan Love.
I don't sleep on Jordan Love.
We're sleeping on Jordan Love, but I'm lucid dreaming with Dak Prescott.
I'm not sleeping on Jordan Love.
Yeah, I'll take.
He's Desmond Ritter. He's a copy and clone of Desmond Ritter.
I'll wait to see it with the Packers quarterback. I'm just going to wait and see. I do not want to. No.
All right. We shall see. A lot of things still to see. But you know what else you can see if you go to Lady Jane's? A nice haircut.
Yes, that is me. I'm the ad man now.
Look beautiful, Booner.
Yes, and walk into Lady Jane's today. Look, I got my hat, but I still have beautiful hair from Lady Jane's. Walk into Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice. Courtesy of Les Stanford, Buick, GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, girlfriend, best bud, Booner, whoever you want. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Think you can play some golf? How about being a professional athlete? Not me, I'm not a professional athlete, but it is the Woodward Sports Thursday Night Golf League live at 5 Iron Golf, presented by Mark White and Associates, spanning 12 consecutive weeks, featuring some famous courses from around the world, played on the state-of-the-art TrackMan simulators. In 5 Iron Golf's 25,000 square foot facility, downtown Detroit. Downtown, you can watch the Lions and then go play some golf. That would be awesome. Can you beat Darren McCarty on hole number 12 at Augusta National? Yes, I can. Can you beat, or what about outperforming Braylon Edwards in hole number 8 at Pebble Beach? Do you have what it takes? 5 Iron Golf. Check it out.
I love you, Booner.
Great job, Booner. I love you, man. Welcome back.
I'm getting good at these ad reads things, man. I'm going to have to challenge D-Mac and Braylon in some golf now.
Yeah, why not? They don't want to mess with Booner, though.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Welcome back, everybody. The Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's time to get into the second edition of our little betting segment we have for the Detroit Lions. We tried it out yesterday. We did some over-unders on offense. Booner cooked up some defensive some lines here, betting on lines, and I want to get to them and get everybody's reaction, and feel free to play along also in the chat. But Lucas, you got them?
Oh yeah, we do. So we're back. Yesterday we did offense. Now we're pretty much doing Aiden Hutchinson and a little bit more. We'll do a rookie that will be there. But first, the first line that we have: Aiden Hutchinson, over or under 9.5 sacks or 9.75 sacks. What is that?
Yeah,
it's because last year I'm pretty sure he didn't have 9.5.
Oh yeah, so over
9.5 you lose. 10 or above.
So Aiden Hutchinson, over under 9.75
Smart brain.
sacks.
I mean, if he doesn't go over, he regresses. So give me the over. Give me double-digit sacks for Aiden Hutchinson.
Hammer the over. I'm hammering it. I should get a hammer in here for a hammer play. I'm hammering that over.
You should be nowhere near a hammer.
No, like a mallet, like a rubber hammer.
Like a judge?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever
Judge
those
Booner?
are called, the javelin.
Those are gavels.
Yes, gavel, not javelin.
Is JB's camera working?
I've been trying. No, it still isn't. It's blacked out.
JB, give us a
Let's get
voice.
a picture of JB. So we can
give us a voice, JB. What do you think? Over under? 9.75 sacks?
Oh, over. This is an easy over. He'll probably end with at least 12. I think 12, 13.
Yeah,
I think 12 is the floor.
I set my number. I have a number in my head here for Aiden Hutchinson. I think it's going to be really big.
Okay, Booner,
what do you think?
Well, I don't know. Are we going to talk about the Defensive Player of the Year odds here?
Yeah,
well, hold on.
Let's one thing at a time.
I didn't want to go ahead because that's why I was giving my prediction.
We'll go all around. Gabby, Aiden Hutchinson. The number is over under 9.5.
Over.
Okay, see, that's easy money.
Hammer.
He looks so solid.
Taylor Decker said he looks bigger. Like he's like stronger. He had last year he was jacked. So I don't know.
You know what I'm gonna say? I think he's standing taller this year. He's in his second year. His confidence is built. He looks bigger because his confidence. Could he be bigger? Yes, but I'm saying he's bigger because of his confidence and because he's walking into this season with like ease, but ready to work.
And the game, dude, is slowing down for him. Like he's getting stronger.
Yeah,
the game's slowing down, dude. Like now, like Taylor used the word relentless when describing Aiden in an interview. Great interview with Tim 21, by the way. He does great work. But again, relentless meaning, to sometimes his detriment. Aiden kind of gets a little, he goes 115 miles per hour and sometimes forgets to slow down.
High motor guy.
Yeah, high motor guy, but, he's with technique too, though.
And one thing, too, with it, I don't know if anyone remembers the interview that he had. I believe it was at the end of the season or leading into that Monday or Sunday night football game before with the Packers, to where he talked about how excited he was going into this offseason because he's a rookie. He felt what it's like to be in the NFL. Right. Now he has a full offseason. He knows what to attack. He knows what he needs to work on. He knows the build he needs. And he's just taken this whole offseason after playing in the NFL for a year, and he's just ran with it. And I think that's just, like Gabby said, the confidence of it, getting in the weight room, just working on different techniques, it's going to take him to that next level. He had a feel for the game last year. Now it's like, all right, we've worked on this. Let's see what we can do year 2. And I think that confidence it's right up there. And I do have some, when we get to the next one, I have some things for it.
Okay, because speaking of blue Kool-Aid, yeah, Lucas, what do we got for the next one?
All right, so the next one, let me get it all ready here. Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, jeez, this one.
This is kind of hard to read for you guys. I'll read it out. Audience should be able to see it well. But right now, to lead the NFL in sacks, he is plus 2,500. So if you look at it, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but he is behind Aaron Donald and in front of Brian Burns, and he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th on the list. So right now it looks like he's tied for either the 6th or 7th best odds.
Wow.
With Aaron Donald. Oh wait, am I reading that wrong? I can't tell. No, I think he's tied with Aaron Donald. But so Aiden Hutchinson plus 2,500 to lead the NFL in sacks. You guys taking that?
Hold on.
Or are you running?
Let me kind of calm everything down before Booner goes. Okay.
Yeah, please do.
I think Aiden is going to, have a great year. I think he can get 12 to 14 sacks. I think that's the gradual thing you see with young rookies. You want him to go like, I don't know, J.J. Watt, you want to bring him up. I mean, he went from like 5.5 to 20 sacks. If that's your measuring stick, cool. I'll take 13, 14. I think that'd be a great year by Aiden. You have to take into consideration, too, there's a little more talent on this defensive line. Guys are coming back. You expect Pascal to get better. Houston, if he starts turning into the player we think he can be, especially the coaching staff thinks he can be, I don't know if Aiden's going to walk out there and get 22 sacks, 20 sacks, Booner, but take it away.
I'm not saying 20 sacks. I'm not going to say 22 sacks, nothing like that. This is what, when I did my research, I dove really far into a encyclopedia book, whatever those things are called. I dove deep into one. Just let me bring up a couple players for you here. All pro guys, legit edge rushers in the league from year 1 to year 2. And shout out to the heavyweights. They kind of put me in the mindset of this because they brought up the J.J. Watt. And if no one knew this, Aiden Hutchinson spoke with J.J. Watt this offseason, had sit-downs with him, conversations. Hey, what do I need to do to make this transition from year 1 to year 2 to have that jump you had? Because that 5.5 to 20.5 is insane. And he won Defensive Player of the Year his second year. So he just listen to these year 1 to year 2 stats. Myles Garrett, 7 to 13.5. TJ Watt, 7 to 13. Nick Bosa, 9 to 15.5 Pro Bowl. And in Nick Bosa's second year, he only played 2 games, so just take that out. So from 1 to 3. JJ Watt, 5.5 to 20.5, 2 Defensive Player of the Year. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying Aiden Hutchinson's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to lead the league in sacks. What I am saying, though, is this is the year that we're going to see what Aiden Hutchinson is all about. Like, is he that elite pass rusher that we drafted last year in number 2 overall? Is he going to go from 9.5 to 15? Because if he does that, then we know we have a dude on that defensive line. If he just stays at the same, he's not in the same conversation as any of these dudes. Me personally, I put all the Kool-Aid in my veins. I'm loaded up with blue Kool-Aid right now. I am saying that he's going to go from 9.5 to at least 15 sacks this year. He will be top 5 in sacks in the NFL this year, and he is going to be Pro Bowler, potential All-Pro player if you really want to break that down, depending on, because like think about J.J. Watt too. What did he do? He had interceptions. He had pass deflections. He had tackles for a loss. If Aiden Hutchinson jumps all of those stats as well like he did last year, he's going to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, boys.
Booner's drinking that Kool-Aid,
and
baby.
that is all
Booner's
facts.
dipping into that Kool-Aid.
That is all fact. I did not present anything that was not a fact.
No.
If he does that, he takes that jump
Here's,
like J.J. Watt,
yes.
like Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Nick Bosa, we have a dog on our hands.
No, we have a dog, I think. I'm with you. We have a dog already.
Thank you.
But this is why I love Booner, man. I love this man so much. But I love the arguments you made. It's cute. It's awesome, right? J.J. Watt. You brought up some of the premier edge rushers in the NFL. But the question is, like, I think Aiden can get 13, 14 sacks, and we're all like, yeah, great. He's still that dude. Like, I don't think it should be like, hey, he's got to get to 16, 17 to be.
I see people in the chat already going,
well, of course,
defensive player of the year.
Lions fans.
Let's go, boys.
Hey, give me a Lions fans, JB. Because Lions fans.
Sheila believes it.
Thank you, Sheila. Lions fans are excited, and rightfully so. But Aiden, I don't know. And Lucas, I want you chiming in on this, just so I know I'm not crazy. I don't know if I look at Aiden yet in that tier. Like, Myles Garrett was like one of the better prospects of. Dude, Myles Garrett is a beast and still is.
Yeah, no doubt.
Aiden, I think, can be, maybe a career around the range of like a 14 to 16. I don't know if Aiden's that dude that can get 20, 22 and a half sacks. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully he proves me wrong.
You are.
But like you're making a comparison to J.J. Watt, who's undoubtedly J.J. Watt's a Hall of Famer.
You're taking this out.
J.J. Watt is a Hall of Famer.
You're taking this out of context. First of all, Aiden Hutchinson will be a Hall of Famer. You're taking this out of context, though. I'm not saying he is that yet. I'm saying he needs to go out there and show us that he can be that this year.
But he can show it.
He needs to take that step.
So if he gets
like all of these guys did.
If he gets 13, 14, you happy?
Yes, because he took that step. I think he will get 15, but. We look at all of the star pass rushers in the league. They all took that step from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, dude.
Name me a pass rusher that took a degress, and then there might be some that took a step back.
Yeah.
But this is the year, like this is the biggest year of his career, and I know it's only year 2, but if you look at the stars in this league, they all took that step. He needs to take that step for us to be like, he's a dog. He will be an all-pro player.
Dude, Booner, my argument is...
I think Jeff's saying that we've already seen that Aiden can be that.
Yeah, he can be that, and now I don't have to see him get... I think, Lucas, you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying he has to go get 18 sacks for me to be like, he's a dog. Like, he's a dog already.
I agree.
I just don't know if he's J.J. Watt, quite frankly.
I'm just saying,
like, I don't know.
We will know this year if we got that guy. Like, got that level of a guy.
I think Aiden might hit those career highs, the ones where you look at and go, damn, he got 18 sacks. Like, maybe a couple years down the line. I don't know if second year he'll do a J.J. Watt type of jump. Like that, J.J. Watt is one of the greatest defensive players, like, of this generation.
And that jump is the greatest jump we've ever seen out of a second-year player.
That's all I'm saying, Booter. I'm not saying he can't.
You're just drawing comparisons to say, like, look, the elite pass rushers the past couple of years, when their second year, they take a big jump. And I agree with you that Hutch is absolutely going to do that. Now, to the J.J. Watt level, no. But, Jeff, I see what you're saying, but to the Myles Garrett, like that prospect comment, I think Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, he might not be as athletic as Myles Garrett, but the man was drafted number 2 overall for a reason, and it's just where Nick Bosa was drafted number 2 overall for a reason. He has all the ability that you could ever want, and he has all the potential to be a Hall of Fame type of defensive end. So I don't think, as far as a prospect, he's lacking anything anymore, especially with... He's very quick, and both in the run game and the pass game, he affects it. So it's not like one of those things where he's strictly pass rusher. Now, that could be one of those things why it takes him a little bit longer to go from 15 to 18, like why we won't see that jump, just because he is more heavily involved in the run game. So we probably will get a little gas. Now, is Aiden Hutchinson probably going to be on the field? Most of the time, yes. But he's going to be worn down a little bit. I think as his career goes on, that's when you start learning techniques, learning those veteran-savvy moves. That's how you start getting those 17, 18, 19, hopefully 20 sack season, which he is very capable of.
Right.
But again, I want to see it. He has all the potential. I think he goes 14, 15 sacks this year. So Booner, I don't think you're that far off.
Well, and the thing is why else would he? I just went and took me 5 minutes to find 5 guys that had that year 2 step, like year 2 progression. Why else would he be reaching out to J.J. Watt? Knowing, like, he knows he wants to take that step.
Of course.
Like, he is ready to take. That's why it gives me that much more confidence that I know that he is in his head. He's like, I'm taking that step year 2. Maybe not J.J. Watt to 20 and a half. I'm going to get as close as I can to it. I'm going to do everything I can for this team to go win, and we're going to get as close as we can to it. Why else would he reach out to the man? He wants to do it. How does that not pump you up?
Booner, it pumps me up. But just because you reach out to somebody, I mean, I can reach out to Colin Cowherd, doesn't mean I'm going to get on his level.
I agree.
I want to. I really want to, guys. But it doesn't always guarantee that. That's my point.
Okay,
you can reach out to JJ.
I'm not giving
respect
guarantees.
it.
I'm not handing out guarantees here. I'm not saying take that bet for him to win this. I'm saying I want him to get 15. I want to see him take that step like all these Pro Bowl guys, all pro guys.
To your point, though, as a number 2 overall pick, and we all agree, he has to take a jump. Now, if that's 13, 14, 15, whatever the hell it is, you got to get at least 4 sacks better. Because, again, you brought it up. It's a great point. A lot of other DNs that were drafted top 5, they get, that type of, progression through their second and third year. So we shall see. We shall see about that. We didn't get to the other lines, though.
No. Do you want to do it now? You want to come back from break with it?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's on me.
Because the Aiden Hutchinson.
That's on me.
It's all good, man.
I wrote a monologue this
I love you,
morning.
Booner. Well, guess what, though? Speaking of amazing defense, let me tell you about Guardian Alarm real quick. Customized solutions, real experts. They got 24/7 professional monitoring. They got technology backed by people as well. All you got to do is call 1-800-STAY-OUT today for more information. Tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening via podcast, download and leave a 5-star review and follow us on all social media at Woodward Sports. And then tune in. We have a great setup of shows for you today to get you into your weekend. At 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is Big D Energy. From 2 to 4 is Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. And 5 to 7 is the Woodward Heavyweights.
I love this comment, too. Oh, God, you knew it was coming. Because I didn't say Aiden Hutchinson could break the sack record. Apparently, I hate Michigan, according to Mason.
Jeff is a Michigan
Jeff
hater.
hates Michigan, so he naturally hates Aiden. Well, Mason, if you watch the show when Aiden was drafted, I advocated for Aiden at 2. That was the guy. Like, people brought up Kayvon. I'm like, Kayvon's intriguing, but Aiden makes the most sense. Yeah, but I hate him. Don't forget,
you
I
are
hate
a Michigan
him.
hater.
Just making sure I clarify that. I hate Michigan, apparently. They did take my hair, though. But I don't have a grudge against him.
You were a sad man after that day, Jeff. That's like when I first started.
Are we still?
Here, Brett Austin. What is Jeff even arguing right now?
Baby.
Question.
We did it.
Hold on. Let me read
Halfway.
this. Hold on. Brett Austin says, "What is Jeff even arguing right now? It's kind of annoying." Well, Brett, if you're listening, remember, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You got to listen. We were talking about Aiden Hutchinson. Booner believes and says, hey, for a number 2 overall draft pick, he's going to have, or could have, or we should expect him to have, a jump to 15, 16, 17 sacks, have that type of season, right? I'm just saying slow the roll. He doesn't have to do that for me to still believe he had a successful sophomore year. That's what we're arguing, Brett. You're welcome for that. I don't charge. By the way, that was free. We'll get to this next one here. Now, go through the other props and we'll react to them.
All righty. So, next one up. Aiden Hutchinson. This is the last Hutch one. He's currently plus 3,000. And I'll pull up the graphic of where it's kind of lined up with everybody else. But to win Defensive Player of the Year. And these are the names that he's kind of around. So number 1, leading is Micah Parsons, 2, Myles Garrett, 3, TJ Watt, 4, Nick Bosa, 5, Sauce, 6, Max Crosby, 7, Aaron Donald, 8, Chris Jones, 9, Brian Burns, 10, Hassan Reddick, and 11 is Aiden Hutchinson. And he is tied with Brian Burns, and he is only plus 500 more than Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. So, looking at that, we just talked about plus 2,500 for him to lead the NFL in sacks. Are you taking plus 3,000 for Aiden Hutchinson to win Defensive Player of the Year?
Can we just say this, though? It is awesome just to have Aiden, like, top 10 in these lists. Like, that is great.
The fact
for
that
odds.
he's there.
Like, that, yeah, facts. Like, the fact that he's there, he's tied with Aaron Donald for leading the league in sacks. Like, all that stuff's great. But Defensive Player of the Year, Booner, I'll let you take this one. You could kind of set the tone here. What do you think?
I already gave my monologue on it all, so I'm...
Just give an answer. What do you think?
No.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Real quick, if you were going to take sacks, just take Defensive Player of the Year. If he leads the league in sacks, most likely he probably wins Defensive Player of the Year if the Lions are winning. So
yeah, I'm going to say no. I still, again, guys, just because he won't win Defensive Player of the Year, it means you're hating. I am not. I think Aiden's going to have a great year. I just don't know if he's in that, defensive player of the year realm yet. I think he's got a little more time to go. What about you, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm not going to put it there yet. I think maybe in a couple years, I think Chris Jones, if he gets a bag, he has a chance. I think he's going to be another wrecking force again. I think Sauce has a really good chance because there's a lot of hype around him too. And it's not like cornerbacks, they don't win it much, but we saw Stephon Gilmore win it. He's a man-to-man corner just like Sauce is. And outside of that, I think you got the TJ Watt, honestly. Now I'm thinking about it more. I think he's going to have a huge comeback here. I think that's who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, I'm not saying Hutchins. Not yet.
Gabby, any chance? I kind of know what you're going to say, but Aiden to win Defensive Player of the Year.
He has so much time. Like, we don't need to rush him. Let him progress. Let's see improvement this next year. Let's set realistic expectations. Assess where he's at in year 2. You saw his growth over year 1. Let's assess where he's at in year 2. I think it is a little bit early to put him in that category for Defensive Player of the Year.
The voice of JB. Because we just got the voice. JB, what do you think? You throwing any money on it? You've thrown some money on the Lions this year.
I've thrown a lot of money on Lions this year. So, dark horse, yeah, maybe. I'll throw $5 on it, but other than that...
Let's go, JB.
There you go.
Other than that, this isn't... He's not winning this. I'm sorry. And I got love for Aiden, but no.
We got one last one. Lucas, can you read it off for everybody?
All right.
We'll go through that one.
No problemo. I got you, Hefe. I got you.
Hefe.
So, now we're going off Aiden Hutchinson. And now we're going to be talking about Jack Campbell. So, Jack Campbell... plus 1,800 to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And this is Will Anderson's the leader. Jalen Carter's 2. Tyree Wilson 3. Devon Witherspoon or Devin, my fault, at 4. Christian Gonzalez. Lucas Van Ness. I wish his name wasn't spelled that way, but it is because that dude's going to be a bust. Emmanuel Forbes, your boy Jeff.
Let's go.
And then right under him at plus 1,800, Jack Campbell, the Iowa Hawkeye, the man wearing the green dot for the Detroit Lions. Plus 1,800 for him to win Rookie of the Year. Are you going to do that?
No, but I will say this.
Simply put.
No, I don't think Jack. Again, what will a year have to look like for Jack Campbell? Maybe I shouldn't say no. It won't happen because you never know. Jack Campbell could come out and have a great rookie year, and I do think he'll be playing a ton early. I do believe that because again, a guy who's 6'5", has that type of size, can guard tight ends, can get after the quarterback, drop back in coverage. The guy's a missile. So
Spencer calls him a meat missile.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want to, Spenny. Hey, I'm not judging. You can call him a meat missile all you want. A year though, he'd have to have. You're looking at like over 100 tackles, a couple picks, a couple sacks.
I think way more than that.
130 tackles.
Yeah,
but still, you're going to have to mix in some other things, too. I don't think it'll happen, but I think Jack, again, will still have a fine rookie year.
Yeah.
But Defensive Rookie of the Year, I don't think so.
The last, and I looked it up here just super quick, Micah Parsons obviously won. I'm not going to count him, but I'm going to go back a little farther to where Lucas said Jack Campbell is a future Hall of Famer because he's Luke Kuechly.
That's not what I said to clarify.
Maybe go back and watch.
I said he was like a Costco, like Kirkland brand Luke Kuechly. He has a lot of the same skill sets, but he won't ever be that ceiling.
Okay, that's fair. I like that either way. But Luke Kuechly won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012 or 13. He had 164 combined tackles. So if Jack Campbell's going to want to compete for this award versus DBs and edge rushers, he's going to have to put big numbers up. He's going to have to go out there and compete. Which, let's be honest, Jeff. He's in a prime position to do it. He's going to start every game. He's going to be leading this defense. He's in a prime position. If he goes out there and puts these numbers up, he may be in the conversation. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but he might be in that conversation if with the green, like he is that guy in the middle of that defense right now.
Yeah, he is.
Or he will be.
Yeah, he is. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I think he, of course, what's his odds plus 1,100?
Yeah.
1,800.
Oh.
I mean, it's a little sprinkle
you got to throw
sprinkles on these Detroit Lions.
You know what? You have to throw money on that. And plus 1,800 for Jack Campbell. You have to throw some money. And people are already chiming in here. Detroit Dabber 313. Jeff, the meat missile shirts are on the WSN shop. Is that true?
They are.
Yes, they are.
Meat missile. What is a meat missile?
Yeah, hold on. He says you work for a network with meat missile shirts. Embrace it. I don't want to embrace anything meat related. But
can someone explain what a meat missile is?
Spenny said when he went down to training camp, it was like Jack Campbell was just a huge meat missile flying around there, just throwing himself into running backs, linemen. He said he was just a meat missile.
I love that. I want to be a meat missile.
And now you got the meat missile, the emojis coming in through the chat right now. Jake the Snake says, are meat missiles available for purchase at Eastern Market? That's a good question, Jake. I'm not sure of that. Ethan S. says Kuechly had 162 tackles, 12 tackle for losses, and 2 interceptions in his defensive rookie of the year.
What a year.
That's a crazy
rookie year.
160 tackles.
Lucas, I hope you're right, and he's like Luke
Kuechly. The one that I really said I think is a better comparison is Darius Leonard, because I think they're very similar in how they're built too. And Darius Leonard, when he won Rookie of the Year, he had 163 total tackles, 8 PBUs, 7 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions.
Well, what matters with these races every year, I know you try to look back and say, well, this guy won Defensive Rookie of the Year, this guy won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Every class is different. Yep. It depends who's in their class. Like last year, Kirby Joseph in any other year would be more. He'd be considered more for the defensive. Aiden played, and then of course you have Sauce. So it depends also who's his competition. And Jeff Olson chiming in says this is a pretty weak defensive rookie of the year class. Campbell is a good bet. So there you have it. There, Gabby, what do you think? Jack Campbell. I mean, you've seen him. I mean, I haven't seen him in pads though. That's what I'm still mad about that because I want to see Jack out there. Any chance, what kind of impact will Jack make right away?
I'm unsure about Jack because of the mentality that Dan Campbell has spoken to about him. Obviously, he's a very hardworking player. He has a lot to learn from what we're understanding, and he's willing to make those changes to learn. But where I will worry is when his mentality gets in the way of his growth. You've heard, some players say, he's a quiet guy. He's not always with us in the locker room. Or Dan Campbell saying, he gives himself a really hard time when he does make mistakes. I think if he can get around that, and he's so young and he's so eager and he wants to do so well. But if he can get around those little obstacles and, increase that camaraderie with the team, I think that's when you'll see the biggest difference.
And Mason Leach says, I was at practice on Monday and he was stuffing the run game but struggling a little in the passing game. And you don't really want to take too much from one practice, but
it's so early for those guys.
Right.
It's the first time in the NFL wearing pads at a practice. Where we're really going to see what he's made of is in these joint practices with the Giants coming up. That's going to be the first time that I think we're going to see him really put to the test, and I'm hoping that we see him get some reps in that first preseason game.
Yeah, because you think Jack Campbell, you got to think for a linebacker walking in as a rookie, the run game is instinct. The run game is see ball, go get ball, but the passing game, it's you're trying to remember different concepts, remember different things. I guess there is a little bit of an adjustment for the passing game, but Jack will be fine.
And I mean, just that transition from college to NFL, it's going to be different. It's going to be tough for anyone. You could be elite, and it's still going to be tough in the training camp and preseason. So, just what they said when they drafted him and in the rookie camp to start, and I think Gabby was at rookie camp, and they mentioned that he already has that mindset of a veteran, learning and wanting to be in different spots and talking to guys. He has that veteran mindset. It's just about going out there and learning and actually doing it, which he has. Chris Spielman, I think it was, that talked about it a couple weeks ago, that Jack Campbell just has that instinct that a star linebacker has in the NFL and that you need from a Pro Bowler. He has that instinct. It's something you can't teach, and that's why they drafted him, is they feel like he has that. So seeing training camp, him struggling with some passing stuff, I bet you by week 1, that's going to all be touched up in these preseason games, in these joint practices, and he's going to eventually be playing on that elite level. He has the skill set. He has the mindset. He has the instincts. He's going to get that done. It's going to come together. It's just going to take time. He's been there for, how long has training camp been? 2 weeks, if that.
And Steve says he needs to start week 1 if he even wants to be in the consideration. Yeah, that's true. But I think he will.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Jack Campbell does not start week 1 outside of injury.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Unless, Jack Campbell walks in, he's, I think, your best linebacker, at least. I don't know. Alex Anzalone had a good year, but I think it's close already.
As I like to say, Alex Anzalone's ceiling is Jack Campbell's floor.
And him and Anzalone will be playing together anyway, so they can both be out there at times.
I could see Derek Barnes or Malcolm Rodriguez kind of.
I don't know. Derek Barnes?
I think Derek Barnes is going to have a nice year. He's on a contract year. He's been kind of not duped out because Malcolm took that spot, well deservingly so, but I think Derek Barnes will be playing with a chip on his shoulder. Jack Campbell is going to be that Mike Green dot linebacker, which Anzalone was last year. I think Derek Barnes is a little bit more athletic than Anzalone. I'm not saying that Anzalone isn't athletic, but when you just talk about to cover space on the field, Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes, I think that's a nice combo. I think it's not much different than Anzalone, but I could easily see that changing.
I like Rodrigo better than Barnes, man.
I do too.
Rodrigo's
but just
a dog.
Far as like, I think Rodrigo's one of those guys where he's very good at what he does, but he's limited. It's not like he can go out there and cover every tight end like that. I think Derek Barnes is a little bit more athletic than Malcolm. Malcolm's a much more sure tackle. I think in the run game, you want a linebacker like Malcolm every time. But when you start having to go into coverage, I think that's where you get a little bit nervous about Malcolm.
Think about that depth too. Like we're talking about, we have 4 dudes that we think that can start on this team.
And the one that we sleep on is Jalen Reeves-Maybin is back, and he's nothing like to write home about.
Germ.
When you talk about, instead of having to sign somebody off the street, you have a great special teamer guy that's been in Detroit before. He's very athletic. He's not the most sure thing in the world, but just having somebody like that instead of having pick up off the street is huge because he's already got that chemistry with some of the guys on the team.
People are roasting Anzalone in the chat, man. Anzalone gets a bad rap, but they did. He'll be a good veteran though on top of what he brings to Jack and stuff.
He's just so hit or miss. Like some games he's on and he's playing great, and then there's some games where he's just flying past the running back. Like he's giving it his all.
Right.
But it's honest work, but sometimes the results just don't always show up.
You never question effort. Maybe you just question if
efficiency.
Yeah,
I do love the hammer. The Thor hammer. I could watch a Thor hammer all day. He's an Italian too, Jeff.
Yeah, he is. I got to give him some love.
That's your guy.
I do.
Oh, and mine too. Italian.
Okay. All right. We'll go to break here. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit about this, something that the 33rd team came out with. And someone from the 33rd team called the Bears secondary the best secondary in the NFC North. And also the Bears made a signing yesterday. Interesting signing.
A good one,
We'll talk about all that
signing.
and much more when we come back. But first, you got to hear about our friends over at Cintron, and I'll tell you. Because again, guys, how would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends, live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's Cintron Energy. Drink it, live it, purchase a 24-pack today, and you're entered to win the $100K Vegas getaway. Drink Cintron.com/Vegas. Buy Cintron at your local Meijer as well. Cintron, the out there energy drink with a great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best versions of themselves. Again, drink Cintron.com/Vegas.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Experience the true meaning of an exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. Indulge in the finest selection of cannabis curated with care. They got over 12 locations. They just opened up one in Whitmore Lake right there above me there. Go check that out. Dispo's never too far away. You could visit disposhops.com and unlock a world of endless possibilities in the realm of cannabis. That is DISPO shops.com, your local cannabis plug. Welcome, everybody, back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Don't forget, if you're watching, you're enjoying the show so far, hit the like button. Do it for my guy Booner, who's filling in for Sam Flannel. Sam Flannel's out till Tuesdays on vacation. I believe he's in Nashville.
Oh, no way.
Don't correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah,
he's in Nashville.
Oh, yes, he
so
was.
Hope you're having fun, Sam. We love you.
Love you,
but we
Sam.
still got plenty of football to get to, right?
We do.
The Bears. That's secondary. All right, and we could talk about that secondary because they got some nice pieces in that secondary.
Yeah, they got some big pieces.
Well, pull up the graphic.
Yeah. Okay.
But the 33rd team came out with this graphic, and they had the kahunas to put Kindle Vildor on the graphic. Are you kidding?
This is some Toledo stuff right here.
Kindle Vildor. That sounds like a character from Harry Potter, and he's on this graphic. Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, Eddie Jackson. I get that.
There's a couple
Even
guys on that
Tyreek
list.
Stevenson, he's kind of nice too.
He's a rookie though.
But he's a rookie. And you got Kindle Vildor.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yes, Connor. Who the F is that guy?
Is he a rookie?
I don't know who the hell that is.
I'm about to Google.
We need
Google
to
search.
figure out who this. That might be a
And
fake person.
Dave Winestead I believe is how I pronounce his name. He
Who
says
names their kid Kindle too? Like a Kindle Fire or
They
something?
like to read,
He's
bro.
a reading tablet?
Yeah, they like to read.
That man said, I think
I
the
feel
Bears.
Like he might have been born before the Kindle came out.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, definitely.
He was a 5th-round pick in the 2020 draft, so he's been around the league.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he has.
Shout out to Kindle, though.
Dave says, and this is, I think he's a part of the 33rd team. He did one of these articles, and he says, I think the Bears are going to be the best secondary in the division. Okay. Well, let me tell you something, Dave.
Wow.
I'll tell you one thing. I pray to Jesus. I pray to Jesus or whoever, Allah, whoever your God is. I pray that Amon-Ra St. Brown lines up against Kindle Vildor. I hope
That's
so.
barbecue chicken.
He's getting that man for what? Eight for $150? 8 for $150? That's who's on the graphic over, let's just go through it very easily. Cam Sutton. We like him, right? Pretty damn good corner. Emmanuel Mosley, in a short period when he was healthy, pretty damn good corner. We'll keep going. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, 6 picks in 12 games. One of the marquee free agents of this past offseason. Kirby Joseph, and I just compared his rookie year to Ed Reed yesterday.
All 4 of the players you just said are better than all 4 of the players that so far are on the screen for the Bears.
Tracy Walker, who just a year prior to last year had over 100 tackles.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing? I'm telling you right now, I'll take Jerry Jacobs over Kindle Vildor.
I'll take Brian Branch.
Jacobs to the whole bottom row.
But I'm saying this, and that's not an insult to Jerry. I think Jerry's already getting reps at this, in Emmanuel Mosley's spot. So Jerry's that dude. But also Brian Branch, one of the most sought after guys, and he fell way past where he should have went, which was he was the best safety in this class. So if you're going to judge Kindle Vildor, a 5th-round pick, why don't we take into consideration Booner, the guy who started since his freshman year at Alabama? How about we do that?
Or even we're leaving someone else off. I would rather take Will Harris over some of those guys. I don't think Lucas likes Will Harris.
You do that decision.
But let's be honest. Like, Dan Campbell loves Will Harris. Like, we have guys on here, and I went and read one of these 33rd team things that had the Bears secondary ranked over the Detroit Lions. I think it was like the Bears were like 19th and we were like 23rd. Yeah. But I went and read it, and I was wondering, like, why did they have that? The reason that they had there was, they just have a new secondary. It's going to take them some time to come together and just vibe together. Like, what kind of argument is that? Go look at the players and see the dogs that we have in the secondary. Don't say, they might get off to a slow start. What if they go out and beat the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said earlier, and that secondary intercepts Patrick Mahomes 2 or 3 times? They jump up to the top 10 instantly. CJ gets an interception. Kirby, boom, takes it to the house. Cam Sutton, 4 pass deflections. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, be honest, 33rd team, what are we doing?
You know what's funny?
That secondary compared to the Detroit Lions, be honest with yourself. Do you know football?
I think
they don't know ball.
They don't know ball. Lucas knows ball.
If you're going best secondary, and maybe, I don't even know, maybe I'm being friendly here. I think it's the Lions. But the only team that I would even consider, Lucas, is the Packers.
That's what I was going to say.
Like, did the Packers just fall off a bridge?
Only one you could.
What happened?
Not even that. I would just love to, if you look at this, you bring the list back up. So you have if we were talking to him, if we were talking to Dave, and he says, I think the Bears are going to be the best secondary division, I would just like to look the man in his eye and simply ask him why. Because there's no reasoning. Just why? Why will the Bears have the best secondary in the NFC North in 2023? Because he's not going to be able to give you a reason. He's going to expect Jalen Johnson to turn into a Pro Bowler. Jalen Johnson's mid. Jaquan Brisker is very nice. I think he's like one of those Jalen Petrie. I think he's a little bit under Kirby's ceiling, but he's a nice, solid guy. Eddie Jackson past his prime. Kyler Gordon, mid. Tyreek Stevenson's a man-to-man corner out of Miami that's going to have a lot of holding issues. And then I don't even need to speak on Kindle Vildor, okay?
Hey.
You go to the Vikings. They have Lewis Seen, who was a rookie last year, was the last pick in the first round. He's coming off a huge injury. That's all they have in the secondary. And the Packers, they have a very nice secondary. I think the Packers, I'm going to say the Packers right now, just because how I saw them play, especially towards the later end of the season. I'm going to say right now they have a better secondary than the Lions, but I think that changes because you have Jay Alexander, Eric Stokes. Rasul Douglas is very nice. I like Darnell Savage still. They have decent safeties, but their corner room is stacked. So to even fathom putting the Bears over 1, the Lions, and 2, the Packers is just absolutely insane. I think the Bears might have the worst secondary in the league because even the Vikings have Harrison Smith. Or in the NFC North, I'm sorry.
No, and by the way, like Dave, or like Winnestead, like he does great work, by the way. Like he's a former coach, he's a good analyst. I like hearing his stuff.
For a reason, I see.
Well, yes, I value his opinion. Like I've seen him on different programs before, but my question is, and Chuck says it, and I totally forgot about this. Dave was actually a former. He was the guy's a former Bears head coach. So again, I don't know.
I didn't know that.
There's some bias there, but more than that,
it's like Adam Rank.
Get out of here. Yeah, there you go.
You shouldn't be allowed to talk about the Chicago Bears.
Don Beat says Mims getting 3 touchdowns against that secondary. He also says
Mims is going to be hims against that secondary.
He also says Tom Kennedy. Hey, okay, JB. He says Tom Kennedy could shred that secondary. And I love this comment too, and I forgot who said it specifically, but it was pretty good stuff. They were talking about. Let me see here. Yeah, Mr. Wizards. He says former Cowboys assistant coach also. So that also kind of questions, if you're working for the Cowboys,
Hear a lot of former.
Yeah, a lot of former.
Former, now writer.
And by the way, guys, this the only team, again, to kind of recap this, you're talking about the Lions secondary. I mean, the number 1 corner this year for Cam Sutton, I know he kind of goes under the radar, but people forget Cam Sutton last year only allowed a 47% completion percentage when thrown against him.
In the AFC North.
In the AFC North. Joe Burrow, Lamar, like now Deshaun, but he was partially out, but still, regardless.
The receivers in his division are
absolutely.
Like
that.
And what about Emmanuel Mosley when he comes back from injury? That's just another. The secondary is stacked right now. I don't see how you can look at that and say they could have the best one.
It's a top 10 secondary on paper, and then with the coaching of Aaron Glenn, which I think is widely underrated just because of the skill talent that he has, the amount of talent in the secondary is going to be able to be on the field more. We talk about the linebacker position for the Lions being kind of weaker. Well, now we can plug the safeties in there, so we're going to be able to run Viper packages and have 5-6 DBs on the field. You can run 4-2-6, whatever you want to do with that. There's so many packages he's going to run. Aaron Glenn's going to have a field day, and they're top 10 on paper, and with good coaching, I think they're going to play above that, probably top 8 secondary.
Let's go football. Who do you think? Who has a better defensive line?
Well, speaking of that, they just signed Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, okay, with that though,
Yannick's a good signing.
Do they have a defensive line that's going to be able to help that secondary out and push them over the Detroit Lions or the Packers?
Now that's a different question.
And by the end of the season, you're going to say, okay, who produced more? What secondary was better? How are you going to do that?
Dave Wanstead, you speak. You speak.
David.
How is this? And by the way, Yannick, I mean, he's underrated.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's going to travel around the league about 5 times, but every place he goes, he's going to be productive. When he was in Minnesota, he was good. When he was in Jacksonville, he was elite. And I think with the Colts last year, he put up like 8.5, 9.5 sacks. So we talk about the Bears needing a pass rusher. They just got it. With all that being said, we still have Penei Sewell. We still have Taylor Decker. And they can have Yannick Ngakoue because we have Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston. So, yes, it's a good signing for them. But the more I think about it, the less worried I get.
Yeah, it was a must-needed signing for the Bears. I mean,
they needed something.
They needed some veteran defensive linemen. They got one, a guy who is again, not premier, but someone that can get you 8 sacks right in a season.
They got their Charles Harris and Romeo Okwara.
Right, there you go. So yeah, this whole Dave, on your take about the Bears being the best secondary, that's a bunch of bogus.
Take a hike.
If you're gonna mention a list with Kindle Vildor.
Should rethink the minute that name gets written on a paper. You'd be like, yeah, I should probably restart what I'm doing. I think I messed up here. I think I went down the wrong alley somewhere.
Throw Dave and Adam Rank in a room together. Let them watch football. Just don't talk about it to us about the Bears.
Lock them in there and never let them out.
Mason Leach is chiming in. He says the Lions have the number 1 pass rush in the NFC North and a top 15 in the NFL, possibly top 10. I think potentially yes. I don't know if they have depth is the main thing, yes, but talent besides Aiden and maybe a flash of James, there's not really Romeo. Yeah, but Aleem hasn't. He had a good year last year, but he's not like one of the premier defensive tackles.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a little time, and I get people. People hate when they say, "Well, I got to see it," but it's true. This defensive line, like I saw a flash of James Houston, just lightning in a bottle. Yep. Can he do it again? We shall see. But no doubt, Mason, they do have potential on that defensive line. No doubt about it. I'll tell you what, we'll go to break. When we get back, I want to get into some more Lions and specifically Jared Goff, the extension, discussion. That Brad Holmes, he went on the radio, had an interview, and they asked him about Jared Goff, and they brought up his extension. And, Brad had some interesting words to say, kind of similar to what he's always been saying, but we're going to talk about that and much more. But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends that were at Big Boy.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about the Strawberry Fest because you know that the Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try the classic items like some strawberry hotcakes or mouth-watering red velvet waffles. If you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with the refreshing summer salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including their very delicious classic strawberry pie, deep fried vanilla Oreos, or strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at Big Boy.
By now you know me, Christina Schnari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates offers. It's called the minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free 10-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Support
250.
Support my guy Booner. I mean, he's helping out these last 2 days. He'll be here Monday as well. Leave a like. We'll try to get you over 150. We'll aim for the ceiling, but just by the end of this segment, we'll get to 150. We'll slowly creep up to 200. How's that sound, Booner?
If we get 250, Monday I'll do the...
What's up with these frosted tips, man?
I'll do a frosted tip.
Just do them.
No, I want to...
You keep teasing.
We need an incentive here, man.
And this
you
is during...
can't change the incentive. Once you start with a number, you got to stick with the number.
Is 250 fair? 250 by the end of this show. I will, and it's going to be the spray. Like, you can go get a spray.
Yeah.
Because I do have to go to work on a Tuesday in a different office. So
why don't you show up with frosted tips?
Maybe I will.
Maybe they'll judge you for your personal choices.
Yeah, he goes, maybe I will.
So 250. Smash the like button. I don't know how many people we have, but it's definitely possible.
We'll do it on air too. When we spray them, we'll lay some trash bags over stuff.
We'll end the show or something.
I want to see that now selfishly. So hit that like button. Again, if you can't watch the show live, you can always re-listen to the podcast on any platform you get your podcast. Look up Morning Woodward Show. Leave a 5-star review. Now it's time to get into this the Jared Goff discussion, because Brad Holmes spoke to 97.1, and again, Brad had some interesting things. It's stuff we've already heard before, but still, I want to get Booner. I haven't had a chance to talk with you about just the future, what you see the Lions doing, and they asked Brad about Jared, and his response was, quote, we've all just been keeping open dialogue from the very start. We've been very transparent both with Jared and his camp. We'll keep it in-house, but we're going to do the right thing for the franchise, and that's where we'll go. And again, here's another part of this too, which he talked about Jonah Jackson, which was great. He talked about wanting to extend Jonah Jackson, and he says there are discussions we've talked about, and we're preparing guys like Jonah Jackson. We've had discussions, and obviously Holmes has had similar discussions already. You talk about Panay and Amon-Ra, who are coming up pretty quickly on extensions. Now that's the problem with this whole thing, and that's why it's hard, because if you say you don't want to extend Jared, it sounds you're hating on Jared Goff, but you got to think of the future, right? It's not just about this year for the Lions; it's about the next 5 years. That's what good teams do. You continuously plan for a 5-year plan. What are you doing? Not just a year-to-year basis. And if you're Brad Holmes and you're thinking about the next 5 years, which assuming he is, because he took Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round. Now, at the very least, Hendon doesn't work out. You still have Jared. You can extend him. But the reason he took Hendon and hammered this and inside the den, he kept saying, high upside. This guy's got a ton of talent. And you don't just say that about a guy that's going to ride the bench. Like, this is somebody that could potentially take the starting quarterback job from Jared. Now, I'll say this, though, about Jared. I think Jared, since he's came to Detroit, has really turned his career around. And again, getting Ben Johnson, you could argue, is one of the better things of his entire career since Sean McVay early on. Jared has a market. There's going to be a team out there that wants Jared Goff. But again, the question is, how much do you pay Jared, and what does that length of the contract look like? Because he's got 2 years left, just about $30 million each. But again, you're looking at guys get paid. Right, yeah. Booner? Justin Herbert just got paid. Joe Burrow's going to get paid.
Daniel Jones
got paid $40 million. Geno Smith got paid.
Yep.
This is where we're at. And if I'm Jared Goff and I'm telling my agent, hey, let's go to the table. Let's start talking. Now, the question would be, does Jared take a team-friendly discount, maybe a short-term contract? Because I can get behind that. But if Jared wants $50 million, although you'd argue, well, yeah, is he $10 million than Daniel Jones better? Yeah, but also when you have Jonah Jackson coming up, Amon-Ra coming up, Penei Sewell coming up, you're going to have to prepare for the future. I don't know if those two things can coexist, but we shall see.
That's the toughest part of this whole, and I bet you that's exactly kind of what they're struggling with, trying to figure out with the contract negotiations is, I look at it like there's two parts to this. The first part was last year, Brad Holmes went on, and Dan Campbell as well went on air and said, when we find a quarterback that we love, we're going to take him. Well, if we find a guy that we think could be our future, we are going to take him. Mm-hmm. And we saw in the draft, they took Hendon Hooker, and they loved him. We saw inside the den, they loved that guy. They loved Hendon Hooker. Now they want to see what he can do. Is the injury going to affect him through this year? It's very interesting to me with this Jared Goff thing, because personally, when you pay a quarterback $50+ million, like right now, that's Patrick Mahomes type of money. And I know Patrick Mahomes deserves more money, but when he resigned his deal last year or whatever it was, I believe, and someone could correct me in the chat or something, I believe it was about 55 a year or 50 maybe. But you're in that range at that point to where in the next 2 or 3 years, to your point, Jeff, you're having to pay Penei. You're going to have to pay Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're going to have to re-sign like a Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, if you want to keep these guys together. So I think what is happening with this Detroit Lions team and what Brad Holmes is doing is they're going to wait till the end of the year. I don't see a contract extension getting done in the next 2 or 3 months, 4 months. I think they want to see, can Jared Goff help win us the NFC North? Can that happen? Can he go win a playoff game? Can he help this Lions team and this organization progress? And if it doesn't happen, all right, maybe Hendon Hooker is that one in the wind, in like the shadows.
Right.
But to be like, right now, Jared Goff, let's give you $50 million before the year, and then what happens if none of that happens? Or Hendon Hooker becomes great. You're stuck with the $50 million contract. You're going to have to move on, or you're going to have to move on from some other major pieces of this team, because you cannot re-sign everyone. Look at what some tackles and some defensive ends are getting right now. There's guys sitting out because they want high-end money.
Even wide receivers. Yes. I mean, Amon-Ra is going to get paid like $20-ish million. He's going to get a bag.
And I was on the heavyweight tonight, and I asked the question: if you do, and if in the chat you're like, yeah, let's extend Jared Goff for $50 million. All right, then tell me this. Look me dead in the eyes and say, all right, would you rather move on from Penei, Aiden Hutchinson, or Amon-Ra St. Brown? Pick one.
Kirby, too.
Or Kirby. Please pick one, because you can't keep them all if you pay a quarterback $50 million.
And I'll say this, Booner, I think the Lions are in a situation where they could be in a win-win here. Think about it. If Jared Goff comes out, and I'm not saying this will happen, I'm not rooting for this to happen, so for people that are going to say this, if Jared Goff comes out, struggles, regresses, has a bad year, let's say the Lions don't win the division, or they lose a playoff game and Jared Goff struggles, and you get to see Hendon throughout the year.
Yes.
You're going to have a better feel of how ready Hendon is. Brad and the coaches will know more, and they could be like, you know what? Hendon could come right in here. He's 25 years old. People think he needs to sit for 2 years. He's ready to go once he's healthy.
It's just the injury that's holding him back.
It's just the injury, absolutely. And maybe schematically getting used to the offense. But regardless, he struggles. You get to see Hendon. If Hendon looks good, the decision's made easier. And someone will take Jared off your hands. But if Jared plays really well, wins a playoff game, now you're kind of like, do we want to go back and regress? Because again, people forget it's not always brighter on the other side. Let's say Jared Goff wins a playoff game and Hendon struggles and it's not the same, but you've already traded Jared Goff. That's a situation. But what if Jared Goff has a good year, you win a playoff game, but Brad, Dan, and those guys are seeing Hendon work, he looks good, and they think, you know what, Jared's fine, but with Hendon, our ceiling raises. We could be a better team. the offense becomes more dynamic. We have a guy like it's kind of like similar, different players, but it's like the Rams. The Rams had Jared Goff, and I know it's kind of ironic. It's Jared Goff. It's going to happen again. But when you look back in LA, Jared in LA early on, they had success. They were winning playoff games. They made it to the Super Bowl, and then Jared struggled, and Les Snead sat there and thought to himself, you know what? We can get Stafford to do this exact same job at a higher level, and they did it. The Lions could be in that same situation with Hendon Hooker if he looks good in practice, but we shall see. Right, Lucas?
He's been working with all of them at practice every single day. He's out there and he's working with them. They've said that he's in the room. He's in all these meetings. So in terms of like picking up the playbook, it's not going to be a difficult integration into him stepping out on the field. I think they're just wanting to make sure they're putting themselves in the best position possible and that he's as healthy as possible so they don't have to take one step forward and 5 steps back.
And there was a comment here, Rick, come on, don't forget the salary cap keeps going up. Yeah, that is a fact too, and I do understand that. But that means you're gonna have to pay all these other guys more money too. Like the percentage of it is gonna be the same. That's not gonna change. If you give Jared Goff that higher end deal, the $50 million, whatever it is that people want, you're going to have to pay those other guys. Like if Jared Goff takes a little bit of a pay cut, goes 40, 45 million, and that salary cap does go up, Penei Sewell's going to look at it and be like, okay, he took a little bit of a pay cut. Maybe I can do the same for the team because we're building something, which is fair.
Here's the risk, right? There's a risk in this because Hendon Hooker is not a first-round draft pick. He does not have a fifth-year option. So the timetable is a little shorter with Hendon. You can't sit him, you can't have Jared for the next 3 years and be like, all right, Hendon, he has 1 year left.
It's almost a good thing, though, because the longer you'd have to wait to pay him, the more you'd have to pay him. You know what I mean? If you have to wait year 4, you pay him in year 4. That's going to be a little bit lower price than when you want to extend them in year 5. So it works out. I get what you're saying where it's like shorter time frame, but it also gives you more flexibility financially.
But at least you'll be able to know what you have. Like, for example, the Packers just gave Jordan Love a year, 20-something million extension. They don't even know what they have.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm agreeing to your point where it's weird, but I think it's almost a good thing because the Lions, Hendon Hooker, like you said, he's going to raise his ceiling. But the other thing with Jared Goff playing this season is he's in a great situation. I think none of us really expect Jared Goff to shit the bed. And Jared Goff already has a pretty high market price after last year. So we give Jared Goff a season to play well. It's going to raise his market price. And in my opinion, if Jared Goff doesn't take us to the NFC Championship game, I think it's time to move off because we go back. It's the easiest thing to say, but you go back to Kansas City with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. Was Alex Smith a good quarterback? Yes. But was Alex Smith ever taking him to the Super Bowl? No. So let Alex Smith build up his market value, let him build that team, let him build the talent, and then trade Alex Smith, trade Jared Goff. Jared Goff you can probably get a first-round pick for, so now you bring in Hendon, and now you have 2 first-round picks again to build even more around. So now when you do have to, even if we bring Jared back, if he leaves, we're going to let go of Kirby. Like one of the key guys are going to leave to get more money. Which one it is, I don't know. But you trade Goff, now you can get somebody kind of like the branch to the CJ where it's like, all right, once he leaves, we got this first-round, second-round pick coming right after him.
Yeah, because you could still flip Goff for something. And now, guys, and I love this comment too. JD says, Jeff, you're so positive of Hooker. What if he ends up being Jameis Winston, 30 TDs, 24 interceptions? You're sure Hooker is the guy? No, I'm not sure. But that's not my job to evaluate him. That's the Lions' job. Now, they'll have more of an insight than any of us will. I'm trying to think from their perspective. They get to see Hendon work all year, and they think, man, he looks good. Now he's playing in practice. He's padded up. You get to see him in action.
That's the NFL.
That's up to them to judge that.
Yeah, it's the NFL. You're gonna take that step unless you have a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. You're always gonna be looking for that next star quarterback. It's the same thing what Lucas just said about Alex Smith. Did everyone that passed on Patrick Mahomes, did they know Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes? No, but they brought him in behind Alex Smith, and they realized, we're not there every day. But the Kansas City Chiefs realized Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes.
He's a stud.
And they flipped and made that switch. If they realize Hendon Hooker is Hendon Hooker and he can be a guy, they're going to make that switch. And someone in the chat put it, do you trust Brad Holmes? I trust Brad Holmes with my whole life. Absolutely. If I ran on the street right now on Woodward, I trust Brad Holmes to come tackle me and save my life. That man, I trust him with everything. I trust him to make the right decision with Hendon Hooker. If he moves on from Jared Goff, I believe Hooker is that guy.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Lucas, and I'll give you a minute to respond to this, but for me, and people say, do you trust Brad Holmes? Absolutely.
Yes.
But a part of me I think Brad kind of sees this thing the same way we see it, quite frankly. Because it's It's just a smart way to look at it. Not saying we're smarter than Brad Holmes, but from Brad's perspective, you're looking at the financial situation. You're like, a little bit of a crossroad coming up here.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna have to make a big decision, and you draft Hendon. Brad is gushing over Hendon Hooker. He loves him. Now he could not work out, but if he does, Lucas, Brad Holmes is gonna love it.
I mean, the NFL is a copycat league. You look at all the great teams around the NFL right now. You got the Chiefs, obviously. I'm not going to say the Bengals because they didn't make like a quarterback change, but 49ers, they're making quarterback changes. Eagles made a quarterback change, moving to Jalen Hurts, and all of those ownerships and managements, they have the head on their shoulders. Brad Holmes has shown us nothing to say that we can't trust him. Everything Brad Holmes has done up to this point has been flawless. He turned the Detroit Lions around in the management department, which has never been done. He's drafted extreme talent from the 1st to 7th and even undrafted guys. If Brad Holmes decides to make the decision of going Hendon Hooker, I think all Lions fans should be jumping up and down because that just means the Lions got their dude. If Brad Holmes is like, yeah, I see the Minnesota Vikings, I see the Dallas Cowboys with these kind of like quarterbacks and they're paying them a lot, and where are they at? First round, second round exits every year. And the Lions have not waited this long to get bounced out of the first and second round over and over again, and Brad knows that.
And by the way, Funky chiming in. This is a great comment. He says John Dorsey's plan, which John Dorsey, part of Kansas City, bring in a high-end mid quarterback, Alex Smith, replace him with a draft pick when the team is ready. Patrick, please remember, John has been Brad's advisor since he got here. I trust Dorsey. Dorsey's the man.
Yeah, and I want it very well known too, especially going into this year. I trust Jared Goff as the quarterback right now. That is not what we're talking about.
We're not bashing Jared Goff. We're just keeping it real. That's all it is.
I used to send messages to Jared Goff to motivate him. If anyone saw that clip ever here at Woodward, I am a Jared Goff guy.
But here's the thing, though.
Future. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you clarified that because, again, I'm the same guy who says Jared's the second best quarterback in the NFC. I believe that. He is.
Yes.
I've been arguing that. But both can be true.
It's
like
money
Neil
and
Rule
longevity.
says, both things can be true. You love Jared Goff, but you want what's best for the Lions financially.
And Steven,
that's
here,
true.
It's a good problem to have. Yes, it is.
It absolutely is.
I am so happy we're in this situation where we're talking about what quarterback can help lead us to a Super Bowl. And the money on it. And we need to extend other players at different positions because they're potential all-pro guys. That is we are where Kansas City was years ago, where they have dudes and we're looking to extend guys and find that next Super Bowl quarterback.
I'm telling you what, Booner, having Hendon Hooker behind Jared Goff is like an insurance policy. I would say, so far as to say, it's a Swiss insurance policy.
This is another ad read for me. Let's go.
There you go. Cue it up for my boy.
I love ad reads. Here we go.
Let him cook.
Now that summer's here, it is important to make sure that you are properly covered, whether it's a grad party or just a group of people over to enjoy the lake or the pool. You can invite Booner as well. I'll come. Your liability exposure increases significantly in the summertime. Let the Swiss Insurance Group review your coverage and make sure that you are protected from any unexpected loss. Check us out at swissins.com or call Mark today at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Back to the morning Woodward show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We appreciate you for taking the time out of your morning for choosing the morning Woodward show. Don't forget, hit the like button on the YouTube stream. If you can't catch the show live, you can go back and re-listen on any podcast platform you listen to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Morning Woodward show. Leave a 5-star review. Now it's time to get, we're staying in the NFC North. That's kind of been the theme of this show so far. And this came out yesterday. What was this? ESPN that had like the biggest the percentages to win the NFC North.
Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky. Is it his list? What he believes?
No, I think it's actually
it's ESPN Analytics.
Okay, all right. You have the graphic?
Yep.
All right, here you go. Here's the ESPN Analytics. Ooh, analytics. Chance to win the NFC North. Lions have a 43% chance. Vikings 29%. Bears 16%, and Packers 12%. And to be honest with you, I think the Bears deserve a little more respect. Not saying, but 16% to the Vikings 29%. Like, come on, guys. Are the Vikings that much better than the Bears? That's my point, Jeff.
I'm so tired of this Bears hype.
I'm not saying they're good. I think they'll win 8 games, but the Vikings
8
at max. What, you think that's crazy?
Yeah.
Really?
I think they're a 4 to 6 win team again.
They won. How many games did they win last year?
3.
3?
Dude,
they're not taking the Detroit Lions hype from 3 to 9.
They're gonna go. Okay, you're telling me 3 wins. They add DJ Moore. They got receivers back healthy.
Congrats.
Defense is improved,
Awesome.
and they're gonna win 1 more game.
No, not 1 more.
You said 4.
It's like, what is it? Floor is 4. Ceiling. Okay,
so 8 is crazy for a ceiling?
7. Like, if they're like, we're playing our best football of our lives in years, 7 wins maybe.
Okay.
No way, Boone.
Yeah,
they're not winning 9 games.
No, I'm with Funky. Funky says the Vikings are about to finish last in the division.
I'm not with that. I think the Vikings quietly. I'm with that. I'm on an island here. I think the Vikings will be second in the division.
What do the Vikings have that makes you so confident outside of Justin Jefferson? Because wide receivers don't win you games, and they definitely don't put you, if you're leaning, your best player's a wide receiver, you don't have much around them, they're not winning you 7-8 games.
Camera's just on me here.
I
Welcome.
know.
Vikings number 2. Listen, they still have Kevin O'Connell. I still think O'Connell's going to help Kirk Cousins. They're in the second year of the system. They're not going to take a massive degression here, and they're going to go backwards. They're just going to be average again. They're not going to win 12 games like last year or 13, whatever they won, but they're going to go win 8 or 9. They're not going to just go from 13, 12 wins to 4 behind the Bears. Like, that's just not going to happen.
So they were a 12-win team last year, Booner, and I know you love this stat because it's one of the great things to expose the Vikings on, but they were in the most one-score games in the NFL last year, and they won most of them. And they have lost an immense amount of talent. So you take those one-score games, the most in the league, I think there's like 8 or 9 of them. You start flipping them.
They do still have talent, though.
They do have talent.
That's what I mean.
They don't have is chemistry and a cohesive unit, and they have a mid-quarterback leading it all. They got a rookie wide receiver who's going to take some time to develop. It's not like Jordan Addison's going to come in and produce like he should week 1. They're going to take time. Alexander Mattison, their RB1, I don't see him staying healthy all season, and 2, he's not even going to amount to Dalvin Cook. Cool, you got TJ Hawkinson.
I love you, boys.
I'm not worried about that. Their secondary, done. Their linebackers are gone. Their defensive line? Their defensive line. Marcus Davenport?
Jordan Hicks, Eric Hendricks, they're still there.
Eric Hendricks is gone.
Pretty sure he's still there.
Did he come back?
I'm pretty sure Eric Hendricks. Like, they still have 2 dudes.
Eric Hendricks plays for the Chargers.
We have to double check that because when I looked at their depth chart last night, Eric Hendricks is sitting on that depth chart.
I could easily be wrong.
Oh, is Booner turning into the football IQ guy?
He might be.
No, okay, dude.
No, but like that's serious though, and it's like I'm not. Let's just be honest. The NFC North is trash outside of the Lions, in my opinion.
No, he's on the Chargers.
Okay, that's on me.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Hand up. Lucas is a football IQ guy, not Booner. Never claimed to be.
This is my problem, Booner, with the Vikings, because I found myself defending the Vikings after this last season. This is before they lost like 7-8 starters, but at that time I'm like, the Vikings are going to come in second, and Adam would say, no, they're going to come in last. That was the argument. Now, the Vikings now, hell no. What? Like, I like Jordan Addison. I do.
It's not like I don't like Jordan Addison.
And Kirk Cousins is underrated, but I just don't know.
Underrated?
At times, I do.
Kirk Cousins underrated?
No,
what was he in the NFL top 100? Voted by the players. He was like in the 40s.
Yeah,
30s.
I'm not saying watch it because I'm not saying Kirk's like elite, but what I'm saying is like statistically, besides last year, like he puts up numbers. He does that. Now, big games, he chokes, he doesn't win the playoffs. I get all that, but I'm just saying. The Vikings, they're not second in the NFC North, Booner. I don't think so. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think maybe second is a close race. Couple teams will be like 6 to 8 wins, whatever. So maybe there's a chance. But the Bears, I like what the Bears are building.
I like what
the Lions. The Lions went from 3 wins to 9 wins.
We've talked about this 100 times in the back too, Jeff. This is my problem with the Bears situation right now. Yes, they are building. Have I ever said they're not building it and we like what they're building? Have I ever said that?
What, the Bears?
That I don't like what they're building.
No,
I've never said that.
But you just said that.
But what I said is the hype going into this year is, yes, they are building. They're at the start of what they're building right now. And yes, they have DJ Moore now. Awesome. They have a weapon for Justin Fields. I want to see them go do it. Right now, from what I see, They're not the second best team in the NFC North. They might prove me wrong, but right now the Vikings aren't going to go from 12 wins or 13 all the way down to under the Bears.
They were one of the
that will not happen.
Booner, they were dead last or almost dead last in total defense, and they lost 7 starters. What are you talking about?
You don't think that they reload? Like, they're not just getting rid of 7 starters, keeping Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson to think that they can't compete.
They can't do anything else.
They botched. The Vikings fumbled the bag.
They literally were in cap hell. They had to release Adam Thielen, Delvin Cook, Zadarius Smith. They almost had a release of Harrison Smith. This team is falling apart. I don't think they're going to be like a 4-win team, but to expect to say that the Bears is going to be better than them is idiotic. It's not.
This is where the Packers fumbled the bag. Okay, or excuse me, the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers leaves your division. Justin Fields is still a question mark, right? The Lions are just on the come up. The Vikings should have continued to go all in. They still had a window. They did the opposite, Booner. They let go of a lot of guys, and they didn't replace them with much.
Still had
the only positive addition they've had, to me, not like Jordan Addison, but it's Brian Flores. That's their defensive coordinator. But besides that, name me some marquee players, Booner. Marcus Davenport?
Harrison...
He's washed. He's like 34.
Dude, really, Booner?
Justin Jefferson.
Of course, Justin. But is he going to win you 11 games on himself?
No, he's not. But you're going to be competing for those in those games. We're in the NFL.
That's what they were doing last year. They barely won.
I'm not sitting here saying they're going to it's a lock for second. I just cannot stand the Chicago Bears hype to where everyone's saying that they're going to go up to 8 or 9 wins and be second in the NFC North. Like, someone explain. I get they added pieces. But, let's see it before we keep going with this.
But then, so we talk about the Bears and the Vikings. What do you think is going to happen when the Bears run on the Vikings this year? Do you think the Vikings will not stop a nosebleed?
That will be a great game. Vikings win it.
No way, bro. No. I think the Vikings could potentially win 1 or 2 games in the division this year. Every team in the North is a matchup nightmare for the Minnesota Vikings. So they're just going to be running it down their throat. The Vikings are going to have to be playing catch-up and just be force-feeding it to Justin Jefferson. He's still going to do some things, but now they can focus more attention because I think Adam Thielen last year is a lot better than what Jordan Addison will be year 1, especially in the red zone. Adam Thielen led all the NFL receivers in red zone touchdowns over the last 2 seasons, so that's huge. The red zone efficiency is going to go down. Delvin Cook's gone. This team is just all around is just becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. The Bears are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. Even though last night when they get Yannick Ngakoue, who would be the Vikings' best edge rusher.
So let me do a little exercise for Booner. Let's go through the Viking schedule, shall we?
Please.
Let's do it.
A lot of us have the same schedule, so let's hear it.
No, let's do it. But look at where their toughest games are. We'll go through that. All right. They open up against Tampa Bay. Nice, cool. Sunday night game. I think they'll beat them.
Yep.
Philly.
Tough game. They
Chargers.
Win.
Carolina.
Win.
You're just saying it's easy.
All right,
Chargers are not. Yeah, the Chargers are a loss. Carolina to me is a toss up.
They're 2-2.
They're a toss up. Kansas City.
Loss.
There you go. Chicago.
Win.
That's a toss up.
With Chicago.
They got San Francisco.
Loss.
See where we're at, Booner. Look at the start of the schedule.
Go through it real quick.
And then they got after San Francisco, of course, Green Bay, Atlanta.
Win.
But then you got New Orleans, Denver.
Win. Loss. I'm already at 6 wins.
Chicago.
Here.
They're not sweeping Chicago.
Okay, that's fair. I already gave them a win for Chicago.
Then they got Vegas,
win. That's 7.
Cincinnati, Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit. Give me the record.
Green Bay again. That's 8 wins right there,
dude.
That's
assuming that those 50-50 games go your way.
Let's just take a look real quick. We did a poll in the chat, right? Shout out to the chat. I love you all. Vikings, 56%. The Packers, second from the chat, 22%. And your guys' beloved Bears, 21%.
They're not our beloved Bears.
Your beloved Bears.
Who was the toughest matchup on the road last season for the Lions? The toughest game to actually game plan for, and no doubt, is game planning for Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields tore us apart.
The Chicago Bears are going to be much harder to game plan for. I think outside of Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, they have the best receiver in the division with DJ Moore, who's easily could be a top 15 receiver in the league. This team is not very far off. I like the running back they got out of Texas, too, as a steal. They just got Deontay Foreman, who ran all over the Lions. This team is going to be a lot better than people give them credit for, and I think they're going to be a lot better than the Vikings this year, at least. Maybe not record. There'll probably be 1 or 2 game difference, but I think when you actually watch it, there's going to be a talent difference between the Vikings and the Bears.
I'm very excited that we're not arguing even if the Lions will be first. We're arguing who's going to be second.
Well, I think every team has their own argument for being second. It's a toss-up. It really is. I believe that.
You guys love the Bears? I hate them.
I don't like the Bears. It's just I know when I see
FTB.
something
Can we
that
get
could potentially
FTBs in the
be
chat?
dangerous, and that's definitely the Bears right now.
No, it's not even like loving the Bears. It's just like understanding what the Bears have. Like that's all it is. We're not saying the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl. They can win 7-8 games, Booner.
I can't wait till we see it.
To me, Lucas, if they win 8, maybe 9. To me, that's second in the NFC North. I don't think you'll have two teams in the NFC North win over 10 games.
Someone on Twitter I saw the other day had the Lions and the Bears in the same tiers. They did tiers,
and
I had to sit there and I had to go.
That's bad.
Like this is why I get so frustrated and so mad about this is because I go on Twitter and see that, and then I have to go in and just fight for the Lions when it's obvious. People just don't like the Bears hype is just up here, and I know the Lions are getting hyped kind of as the contending thing. Move that to the side. People are saying the Bears are going to go in the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Yeah,
That is real.
Justin Fields get MVP hype. Like I get all that. Trust me, I'm with you.
Wait until the end of the season. We can have this conversation.
That's all over the top and ridiculous. But you know, it is what it is. People are dropping the FTBs in the chat. So hey, I'm with.
I can't stand the Bears. But if we're being realistic, I don't like any of the teams in the NFC North, and the team that's the most dangerous right now is the Bears out of those three.
Like the team that puts the most fear in me is the Bears.
Yes.
Is that
100%?
No. Like. Dude,
I'm not.
Jordan Love, baby.
All right,
I'm sticking firm with that.
We shall revisit that later.
When they prove it to me, I will admit
You'll own up to it if it happens.
Week 7, we'll have this. We'll revisit this conversation.
Okay. All right, can't wait for it. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll get to what's trending with Lucas. But before we do that, Booner, man, I see those guns. Where do you go to get them?
Planet Fitness. I'm getting a black card this week, everyone. Planet Fitness is the home of a judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, even me, Booner himself, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. We are here to help you build a lasting and very active lifestyle. At Planet Fitness, you will experience squeaky clean gyms that has tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, I don't know what that word is.
Circuit.
And all memberships include free trainings. Your fitness is extremely essential, just like mine is, and fitness is a key part of physical and mental wellness, which is why we invited teens between the ages of 14 and 19 to work out for free. I'm not paying for it, but it's for free, not out of my pocket. All summer long with our high school summer pass program. For more information today, please join today. Visit your Planet Fitness over at www.planetfitness.com, where your fitness is essential.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
I got to tell you about our friends over at Outdoor Equipment Company, because your childhood may be over, but certainly playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company, sales, service, parts, they got it all. Servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. All you got to do is visit OutdoorEquipco.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground. Oh, we're back. It's the morning Woodward Show. We're flowing. We're going. And we appreciate you guys for showing some love. Yeah, Booner's ODing on Blue Kool-Aid. It's been a great show so far. Again, we appreciate you guys. We're almost at 200 likes. Let's hit that number by the end of What's Trending with Lucas. But we got to get to it. Lucas, check the watch. What time is it?
We'll make this extra quick because we got mailbag in like 3 minutes. But every time Dakota Rain Prescott, every time he throws a pick, you can bet your ass that we're going to be showing on the morning show. So yesterday at camp, this is what Dak had to show.
Another one?
Jeff, you go back to my question.
Stephon Gilmore.
You go back to the question earlier. Would I rather see Jordan Love or Dak Prescott in the playoffs? I would 10 times out of 10 see Dak Prescott in the playoffs. And I don't even need to know what Jordan Love brings. I just know that the Packers would play the Lions probably tougher than Dak Prescott would. Yeah. So that's why I'm going there.
Well, based on that clip alone, I felt like, and this is training camp, by the way, so I don't want to overreact. I know, there's probably the Trey Lance stuff people are talking about as well. Yeah. But Dak, this is like 1 week we've seen a couple picks by Dak, and
he's only throwing 10. Remember?
And it's not about him throwing. It's not about him throwing picks, but guys, he's the one who said I will not throw double-digit picks this year. So hey, it is what it is.
He's in training camp. He's a veteran. He's not like a rookie. You know, like, he's a veteran quarterback, and he's out there at training camp.
Of a veteran.
He's probably thrown more picks than he has touchdowns that we've seen come out of training camp.
True.
We've seen more worse than bad come out.
It's insane.
But
True.
We'll make this extremely quick. Booner, I know you're going to love this one. You told me about it yesterday. Jake Moody.
Oh!
He's been on the block, baby.
Michigan
This
fella.
man kicked a 60-yard bomb in 9
Oh, did he really?
And that's next Justin Tucker.
Oh my God.
Question with that. Would you rather have Jake Moody or I don't even know when he went. Who did we take in that round? When Jake
He went in the third round, dude.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, so who do you want? It would be either Hendon or Broderick Martin. Like
he's going to be
well, not Broderick because what pick did he go? I don't know if Jake Moody was around that.
That's Justin Tucker right there.
Yeah, Jake Moody's that dude.
Next man up.
And it's funny because when we talked about Moody in the draft, it was like, hey, are you taking him with a fly? You take him in the 5th or 6th. That man went in the third round. And the 49ers have the luxury of doing that because they have little to no weaknesses. They just needed to replace their kicker.
Just like, we'll do that. Rodney Gold's nice, but Jake Moody could be a little bit better.
That would be nice to have that. Well, we're going to in the next couple years. So.
Yeah. Moody's a dog. He really is.
That'll be all. Let's get into some mailbag, and we'll be back tomorrow, fellas.
Let's do it. We'll get into mailbag, but before we do that, Gabby, could you tell everybody about our friends over at Randy Wise?
More than happy to. Randy Wise is where you can go and make the wise choice in vehicles. We had the pleasure of starting our week off filming another episode of the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour over at the American Cancer Society golf outing on Monday. It was fantastic. That episode will be coming very soon, but in the meantime, head down to Randy Wise and get yourself into a celebrity level vehicle.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Let me tell you about our friends over at the Academy of Warren. They have built a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field that can also be used for 7-on-7 football. I'm telling you, K through 8 that features AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, futuristic media center, academic games, K through 8 athletics. Don't forget that Ermanni Networks will be broadcasting from their carnival on August 24th. Come meet the staff and explore your child's new school. The Academy of Warren is now accepting new enrollment. All you got to do is go to theacademyofwarren.net. Oh, it's mailbag time, ladies and gentlemen. It is.
I love mailbag.
It is that time. Here we go. First question. Jack Harrington. Mail sack. Gabby, thoughts about FSU wanting to leave the ACC? FSU is out of there.
I knew that this was going to be coming from him. I think it is very interesting. Big Ten, SEC.
Two conferences.
Ultimately, all this is starting from the fact that the ACC has a terrible TV deal that they're locked into until 2036, and they're getting paid $10 million less. In 21 to 22, they got paid $10 million less than the SEC did for the season for football. So I don't know. I think it would be a shakeup, but like where would be the best fit?
We could bring in Washington, Oregon, Notre Dame, and Florida State. Give it to me. I will come make some money in the Big Ten. I open the doors for the Big Ten to FSU.
Dat Boy Roy says, Mailbag, what are you guys doing this weekend? Well, Roy, I'm going out to Hocking Hills in Ohio, checking that out, doing exploring a little nature. So I'm excited for that. Get back, but I'll be here Monday. Only taking a day because I don't miss shows. We ain't doing it. We're locked in, baby. What are you doing, Booner?
To be honest, I have no clue what I'm doing this weekend. I just go in the wind and let the weekend take me where it goes.
That's why I love you.
I might go see Oppenheimer on Sunday.
I would go with the wind.
Go with the wind, not into it. Sometimes it's good to go into it, though.
That's tough.
But you want a tough weekend sometimes.
Uphill and into the wind.
Yes. No shoes. Go for it.
And by the way,
fitness is essential.
I got to read this one. Don Beat says, mailbag, Jeff, you avoided trivia today? Well, no. It was going to be SummerSlam, which I would have bombed anyway. Booner knows wrestling a little bit. You know it. You do.
I lied to you. I don't know anything about it. You might have won.
Let's be real. You both would have got smoked by me.
Yeah. Are you going this weekend, JB?
Yes, I will be there. Shouts out to Tom Asway for hooking everything up. So I will be there this Saturday.
Love to hear it.
Dave says, Juicy's woman definitely planned that trip. No, she did not. I planned it, but
look at you. You going to the greatest state in the country, aren't you?
No, I don't know about that. You know what's funny? Hocking Hills, it's like when you see pictures of Hocking Hills,
it's
like,
beautiful, man.
You're like, where is that place, man? Like, is it in like what state is that in? And then you look and you're like, Ohio.
It's in Joe Burrow land.
Burrow
his
land.
Parts.
I call it. Anyway,
you'll
before Joe Burrow's land. You know whose land it was?
Who?
You know, the kid from Akron.
Oh no, he's north. He's north.
Yeah,
he's in
right.
Cuyahoga County up there.
Let's see. Funky says, mailbag, why doesn't anyone ever correct Neil when he screams 300 yards rushing in a half? He's literally adding 25% to the 240. You could ask him if the second half was the best ever with only 20. Yeah, I don't know, Funky. Neil, that's his shtick, right? The rushing thing. He gets the numbers a little wrong, and he's a numbers guy.
Numbers guy, confirmed.
But yeah, you know what? That's up to you, Funky. I see you holding him accountable in that chat, so you got to hold him accountable. That's all it is. Neil needs that a little bit, you know.
Neil's elite.
I was told Neil's elite. You got to keep him in check a little bit, but I love him. I love that guy. Let's see, Eric Allen, mailbag. What games on the Lions schedule do you guys think could be a trap game? Falcons, Bucks, Raiders.
Great question.
I think the Falcons are a little bit of a trap game, man. The skill position players they have is unreal, but that defense, it's like Jesse Bates, Jeff Okudah. I don't know. Falcons, I think of it as a trap game.
I think on the road versus New Orleans.
Yep.
The Saints, that's a tough game. I think people underestimate how tough it is to go into New Orleans and play. Even if they have a bad team, good team, average team, when you go into New Orleans, that atmosphere there is everyone talks about it. Mm-hmm. It's a tough place to play. Dan Campbell going back to where he coached before. I think that might be the biggest trap game. It's like in the middle of the season, towards the end a little bit, to where you're really going for a playoff push and seeding and all of that. So that might be my pick.
Jack says, Lucas, can you admit Ohio is the worst state in the USA? Your response?
I'm thinking.
No, I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking of like, could you imagine living like fucking Alaska, dude?
But you're pulling out like Wyoming, like
at least like
North Dakota.
Team, like has a couple sports teams. I mean, it's bottom 5 for sure.
Yeah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Ohio.
Yeah, all in the same tier. They're like in that C.J. Stroud.
Whoa.
Sam Howell tier of states.
At least you got him close to admit it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud from Ohio, he should be in the same tier as them as talent-wise, too.
Yeah, here on Mark says, Neil also says 3 touches, 3 TDs, but the reverse Jabo got tackled at the 9. Yeah, he also says 3 catches, I think, and one of those was an end around. I think it was a rush for 40 yards. I like to say, and how I say it is not every touch was a touchdown. I say every touch went for 40 yards.
Yes.
Because that's true. The pass he caught against Minnesota, 40-yard touchdown pass. The run he had, who was it against? I'm blanking, but it was the end around.
The Bears.
It was the Bears. Okay, that was 40 yards.
Did he have one in Green Bay?
And then the one in Green Bay, I think, was a 40, but that was called back. Yep. So, yeah, the 3 touchdowns and 3 touches, you got to love him, though. We love Neil.
Mike G wants to know what's on my hat, and I have to let the people know it is a G for not only Gabby, but Grayson. Grayson Clothers, fantastic brand. They have their flagship store here in Detroit. They have some great stuff that I'll be wearing all season for golf.
It stands for great as well, you know?
Yeah. Booner the Great.
Booner the Great.
Booner the Great.
Steve, greatest gambler in the play. I'm undefeated in football.
G stands for great.
Don't forget.
Yeah. Hey,
never lost.
Mike says, Mel Sack, can we give Booner a fist bump for a great freaking shift this AM?
Let's go, Mike.
Fist bump.
Heck yeah.
Oh, let's go, Mike. I'll be back Monday morning, by the way, too.
Yes, he will be back Monday.
I will be bright and early Monday.
End your week and start your week with Booner.
Yes. That's great, just like Gabby's hat.
You're either happy or a little terrified. Either one. We'll take either. Jesse Adams asked, mailbag, are you guys going to go to the Lions' first home game? I think a group of us are going. It's also my B-Day. That'll be awesome. I would love to drink a beer with you guys. Yeah, Jesse, I'm going to try to make it out there to the first home game. I know a couple of people from Woodward Sports will be down there. I'm sure we'll be in the area just making content. So
I will not be.
I'll be there. And then we'll also be a part of the Lions exclusive VIP tailgate. So more details on that to come.
Ooh, there you go.
I wonder if I have the VIP. I just found out too, by the
way.
way.
You were on the phone with Brad last night.
Well, Brad knows I have a job here, so he knows what I have to do. Fun fact, I just found out what VIP stands for about a month ago.
What?
Very important.
You want to enlighten the people on what you learned so we can fact check you?
Very important person, correct?
Yep.
Did not know that. I've never been in the VIP. I don't know.
I've never had
My life
either.
is changing as we speak, so.
I love you, Boone.
Love you guys.
Last question. Again, apologize to anybody I didn't get to. We'll get to as many questions again on Monday, so just fire them right back. Let's see. And Clayton asked, Mailbag, is it bad to say I think the Lions end the season 13-4?
Ceiling.
Yeah, that's fair. I think if you're
ceiling.
talking about the most games, if everything goes well, I can see 13. But I think 11's more likely. But we shall see. Maybe you're on to something, Clayton. You never know. I thought they won 8 games last year. They won 9. So,
yeah.
They won, and that was with that defense.
Jeff's ceiling, though, is they lose in the divisional round. Just don't forget that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the year. I know people are excited, but I don't think it's an NFC Championship. I don't think it's Super Bowl. But that's okay, guys. Like a good building block. A good building block is still winning a playoff game.
Jeff is scared.
Taylor Decker, guys. Taylor Decker, you like him? He went on Tim 21 yesterday. Either yesterday or the day prior. Don't know the exact day. When the video was put out there. But he said, "I just want a playoff win." That's where we should start.
Yes, but
and then there's Booner, where it's like NFC Championship game. Like
Jeff, but
just
that's
start
them
with a
inside the
win.
building. Just like, let's take it back here. Take a step back. We don't need to hype ourselves up. Let's take this one game at a time. Us, we could do all we want. We have the reins. They can go to the NFC Championship game. That is possible. They're not going to say it, but they know it. Don't tell me Taylor Decker's not talking to his wife at home when they're going to bed saying, "I think we might be able to win the NFC Championship." I bet you he said that came out of his mouth at one point.
You'd bet?
I'm a bettor. Remember, undefeated in football this year. 1-0. Never lost.
Never lost. Well, guess what? We never lose when we got an audience like you guys. So we appreciate you for tuning into the show, showing love.
Love you all.
Again, we'll be back Monday for a great show, planned as always. But again, preseason's coming around, and I cannot wait for the Lions to get started, man. I'm telling you right now, Lions victories, even Lions losses, pre-game shows. You're going to want to be here on this network, but more specifically, you're going to want to come to the Morning Woodward Show because it's going to be a blast. I'm telling you, we're all cooking some stuff up for this season. It's going to be a lot of fun. But until then, Jeff Iafrate, Booner. Thank you, Booner, by the way. Filling in for Sam Flannel. He'll be back Tuesday. JB, Gabrielle D. Phillips, and Lucas Klotz. Until Monday, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you then.